Well, like I brought up a few times, the third periods. I mean, going into the third periods, I think we played really good hockey, and that's key. Like, tied game, up by one, holding the lead, playing the right way, doing the right things. It's not about, you want to get the next goal. We don't preach, don't try to score. I mean, we want to go get the next goal, but just doing it the right way and going about the right way. Our checking has been really good in the third period.
What did you like in those 5 games without McCabe earlier that allowed you to kind of shift?
Well, I think guys step in and do the job. Tim Road went tonight. He's been out a couple games, and Maiji's done a good job. And, we have a lefty-right in each pair now, which helps with puck transport, out of your zone, through the neutral zone and things like that, and even in the offensive zone. It's a lot easier to take a puck off the wall and do something with it. You got a guy in his offside, it's definitely harder.
Sorry, where are you at with Morgan Rielly's game right now?
I think Mo's been really playing a hard game for me, like physical, checking, doing a good job, and a big goal for us last game, 3-on-3. I think that he's doing what we're asking him to do. I'm sure maybe he looks at it like he wants more offense, and yeah, he's an offensive defenseman, and he's getting his looks, and he's walking down the pipe in the power play last game. It just got blocked, but for me, it's about playing 200 feet with Mo, and we want him to be offensive and jump up into play at the right times and do the right things, but we want him to do the right things defensively, and I feel like he has been.
Craig Berube talking about Reeves drawing back in the lineup, another topic. So this is the start of a 2-game mini road trip. Tonight in Philadelphia, Thursday night in Carolina, and it's also the Mentors trip. And here is Reeves on the Mentors trip and what it means.
Yeah, it's been fun. There's a lot of good characters here. Fun seeing Jumbo here with Poppy, but it's good to just see people who've influenced the lives of all these guys and have a little fun with them.
Is that give you a stick a touch there before the long? Is that just a little bit of a Jumbo blessing there?
No, we were talking about how ugly my knob was.
Okay.
So I just had to show him. But you know what? If I score, he's going to be on every trip. So.
Yeah. Is that your brother who's on the trip? Well, why'd you pick your brother for this?
He's just always been my best friend. He's he's gone through a lot in his life and overcome some pretty big challenges that I really respect out of him. But first and foremost, he's just kind of always a guy that I go to when things aren't going well, and vice versa for him. So we've been best friends our whole life. So it was, and I don't get to see him a lot, to be honest. So
right.
Yeah.
I remember on social media he stood up for you when you were suspended for 5 games. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did. No, yeah, he loves getting into the Twitter beef. So I'm always excited to see him get into that sometimes.
Gotcha. What's it mean for you to get back into the lineup here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously excited. It's been a couple games, and it's tough sitting out, but we got some guys who are playing really well, so just got to wait for your opportunity.
Craig talked about wanting to have a physical element to the game. How much does that stem from when you have the back-to-backs with the same team, that the animosity from one game can carry over?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does, especially if there's guys who run around or something happens in a game, and then you play them two games later. I think obviously there's going to be some spillover, so I think that's just natural.
That's Ryan Reeves on getting back in the lineup, and of course the saw in the background, Stu. That was kind of intimidating.
Auto repair shop there. What's going on there?
Kind of intimidating, wasn't it?
I'm not sure if you heard Paul Maurice was doing a presser. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or today. There was some talking in the background, and he's like, "Do you guys mind?" It's really, a little bit confusing when you got some noise in the background there. Yes,
it's a hockey thing, right? The game goes on.
For sure.
So it's a mentor trip. That's got to be fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Sometimes they have, whether it's a mother or father's trip, it's good to sort of bring somebody that's made a big impact on your career. And it's good to see Joe Thornton, be chosen by Austin Matthews to come out. It's kind of funny. We did a father's trip in Ottawa when I was playing with the Carolina Hurricanes. And my father actually walked up right to the captain and said, "Hey, you got to get this team together. You guys are struggling a little bit. You got to do this, and this," and gave him tips on how to fix the team. So I think we actually went on a little bit of a mini run there, but it's always good now. It just puts things in perspective, and especially when you're winning and the mood is light, it's a lot easier to have these types of trips. Could you imagine the New York Rangers right now having a trip? Everyone's miserable and everyone's moody, you're losing, but the vibes are high right now in Toronto land. It's the perfect time to have the Mentors in tow right now.
Well, and crossing the 41-game mark, so the season is half over. When you look back over the first half, I don't know that we could have predicted any of this. We might have predicted that they'd be in pretty good shape, but how they got there is the whole story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like, is this predetermined? Are we in the Matrix here? Because with all the things that happened this year and the adversity that this group's gone through, I think it's a miracle on 34th Austin Matthews Street that they, that they're sitting with a 4-point lead over the Florida Panthers, right? And you're looking at, the Boston Bruins who've, gotten some bad goaltending and some players struggling scoring. They've lost 4 in a row. They're 9 points behind Toronto. Tampa Bay is 12 points behind as well. So with all this adversity, with the injuries, Austin Matthews, your 69 goal scorer, being out for an extended period of time, you had 7 American League players for a bunch of games as well too. You had the Mitch Marner contract saga. John Tavares lost the C. Joseph Wall was out, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple other things. This team had every excuse to sort of just mail it in and toil around that 500 mark, but they found a way to be plus 13 at this point of the year. And the power play has been struggling still a little bit, but they find a way to weather the storm and get some wins. So it's amazing, and it's good that they've gone through this adversity early on in the season, because as the season goes along, one little thing like that can really, really set you back. So the fact that they got it out the way just shows that this team is rolling, firing on all cylinders, and it's good to see that they're taking the next step, because they were going to be judged on the playoffs. But if you now finish top of the division now and you end up playing, possibly a Pittsburgh or a Montreal or an Ottawa that squeaks in, that's a lot better than playing a Florida or Boston or Tampa Bay.
So let me ask you this, just based on what you said there, and I'm looking at the standings and I'm thinking to myself, okay, the Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup champs, they're right behind the Leafs. Boston's already had a coaching change. Washington is the positive story. Devils are sort of a rebound season with a new coach. We know him. Carolina probably not happy with where they are, but know they can do better. And then you've got the rest. The rest are, it's like some sort of a carnival game. They're all there and they could all cancel each other out. So of all these teams, which one would you rather be?
Other than Toronto, you mean? Like
no.
These teams
I'm putting Toronto in there. Which one would you rather?
Okay, I'd be Toronto, right? But again, the Florida Panthers, I think they're going through a little bit of a fatigue factor, right? They've been into the finals the last back-to-back playoffs. Looking at a player like Bobrovsky, I think he's got 200 starts the last 2.5 seasons, so their foot's off the gas. But there's some other teams. I like Toronto. I think just with the additions that they had on the back end, my philosophy on hockey's changed now that I'm a coach and now that I'm doing this. Defense and goaltending, if that's your strength, that's going to give you a better chance of winning than having a lights-out offensive system. So I like the Leafs. You can call me biased, you can call me a homer, but I like the Leafs just because of the adversity they've gone through the last 2-3 seasons. If it's not this year, when is it? When is it, Taddy? Is it going to be 2067?
No,
right?
It's one of the next 3 seasons, and the sooner the better, really, because then it could build into something. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the Leafs. You always defer to the Panthers because they're the defending Stanley Cup champs, and you have to respect that. It could happen again. The Panthers, look at this, even though they may not be happy with where they are, they like to be where the Leafs are. 12-6-1 or 12-8-1 at home, 12-7-1 on the road. That's pretty good hockey. I mean, that's even Steven. So you defer to them. But if I had to go to anywhere else, it would be the Leafs. Washington, I don't know how legitimate that is. The Devils, I don't know how legitimate that is. And I would never count Carolina out. The rest, this is a coin toss as far as who gets in. So I'm going to agree with you. I'd rather be the Leafs because look where they are through all the adversity they battled, and there they sit.
Yes, and it's. I know it's a simple answer, right? Because again, we watch them the most and closely, but again, just watching some of the other teams, and it's for me, it's just based on eventually the Stars get it right. They talk about, how long it took Ovechkin to win a Stanley Cup, Steve Yzerman. Eventually the stars and the superstars put it together, right? And, I think, Tavares and Marner and Nylander, those guys have been, rocks for this team. And Austin Matthews coming back looking healthy. They have the talent but I think Craig Berube can be that X factor. Here's a guy that took a team that was last place pretty much at Christmas, January 1st, and took them all the way to the Stanley Cup, essentially riding one hot goalie that was borderline going to be in East Coast Hockey League, be in the East Coast Hockey League. So for him to go and take that group, that experience, bringing that to a team that's more talented and playing the way they are with the system that they're doing, and still having some room to grow, adding a couple more pieces, I think this is the year for the Leafs.
You're starting to get the host throat, aren't you?
Yeah,
that's what
too
happens.
much. I got the espresso throat. Too much hot coffee keeping me awake here. What is this? I think this is day 65 in a row here. Happy holidays. Wouldn't change it for the world, though. Talking hockey, we're talking hockey for a living. There's no complaints on my end.
Yeah, someday we'll get a job. So I'm gonna put it this way. I'm gonna say, Stu, if you add in the scar tissue from the core players, put in the new ads, and when you talk about new ads, OEL and Tanev leading the way, and a coaching staff that has won before, and is a veteran coaching staff, the head coach has won before. Those are really nice things to collide at the same time. And we're only talking about this because it's game 42 tonight. Starts the second half, but I think when you look back over the previous 41 games, there's not much to be upset about. You should be pretty happy about it.
No, you should be really, really happy, right? It's almost like the perfect recipe in building a team. And, essentially, they'd love to maybe have a superstar goaltender, but, you saw Joseph Wall weathering the storm. You saw Stolarz playing at an all-stars pace before he got hurt, too. And, just the depth of the defensemen, right? You saw Simon Benoit have a good game against the Flyers, playing really, really physical. And, Tanev shot-blocking machine. And Myers is coming into himself. And Craig Berube made a perfect point on, Morgan Rielly, saying, yes, he'd love to have the points, but he is playing our system, and the points will eventually come. He's too talented of a player, but he's happy with his game. And again, I know in this market, he's paid $7.5 million. He's got to be at a point a game. That's not the type of defenseman he is. He is a solid, I would say, 1B type defenseman, and he's playing his game where his mistakes, I don't think, are really, really that noticeable. And he's playing solid, and as Craig Berube said, he's adding a physical element to his game this year, which is good to see as well.
Yeah, and quite frankly, from the blue line in, there's not a concern for me on this team other than health.
Yes, and it's a big loss with Jake McCabe. He's probably one of their most valuable players, and that's a freak accident, I think. And Hathaway, I would say, is an honest player. He doesn't go and jump guys or hit guys from behind or anything like that too. But again, it's a physical sport, and sometimes guys get hurt. But I'm sure McCabe, when he comes back, he'll be 100% and ready to go.
Well, and against the Flyers tonight. So the Flyers are in that cluster of teams that could go north or could go south, and all it would take is 2 or 3 games in either direction, and you either rise to the occasion or you drop. This is a team that really has to earn everything. Nobody's going to give them anything, and they've got some holes. Certainly, when you look at their power play, it fires at 15.5%, penalty kill 78.5. The special teams add up to 94. Not good.
That's not good. And, we talked about 100 being the standard, but I think some teams are 105 or 110. Those are the expectations. But I've been out of the game a long, long time. And, this is a team that does have some extreme talent, right? He's one of the, the top two-way players in the league. You have Couturier, who struggled a little bit, only 7 goals and 19 points in the 38 games. Owen Tippett is one of the premier budding power forwards in the game, too. And, keep an eye on Scott Laughton, because that could be a player that the Leafs are, eyeing or circling as a player that potentially can be, targeted in a trade. So this team, they have some good pieces, especially on the back end. You saw Sanheim have a good game last game as well, too. But for me, the goaltending has been struggling. All 3 goaltenders under 900 save percentage and way above 3 goals against. So, again, if I'm the Leafs tonight, early and often, a lot of shots, a lot of volume, crash the net like you did last game, and hopefully bang a few in early.
So Philadelphia hits the ice 3-6-1 in the last 10, just coming off a road trip. And, of course, the Sunday night game in Toronto where they lost 3-2 in overtime. The Leafs have won, 4 straight now, so looking good since the break. We'll see what all that means next. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
Joe and Lucy needed a new roof and reached out to Alpine Credits. I flew over to help them with a home renovation loan. I suggested they transform their house into a giant robot head, beams that shoot from the eyes. Pew, pew. Instead, they just went with shingles. But it's pretty glorious.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
What a shot.
Tennis hits different down under.
That is absolutely extraordinary.
So don't miss a moment. The Australian Open, January 11th to 26th on TSN and TSN Plus. Subscribe now.
There you are, alone in your car, waiting at a red light. Suddenly, there she is, pressed against your window, holding a homemade cardboard sign. Can you really tell what it says about her? Don't let homelessness assumptions get in the way of homelessness solutions. Go to CanadaCanDoIt.ca. Help the Canadian Alliance to End Homelessness.
Walmart is the #1 place to save on groceries.
What's up, hockey fans? How we doing tonight? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight for the Flyers and the Leafs doing battle once again, this time in the city of brotherly love. Let's get the brooms out and get the sweep of the Flyers in the home and home series. Please hit that like button down below. Let's get more hockey fans here in the chat as well. Please share the link. If you're on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, please share the link out. That helps bring more Leafs fans to our awesome community. Now let's get back to the hockey. We'll see you guys back in there. We got to cheer loud tonight. Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go!
And I know that line of Max Domi, Bobby, and Robbie have been really good for us, but Robbie's not in tonight, so just moving guys around a little bit.
And some rough stuff Sunday night between these two teams, and Reeves is back in, and just in case, and he knows what to look for.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does, especially if there's, guys who run around or, something happens in a game, and then you play them two games later. I think, obviously, there's going to be some spillover, so I think that's just natural in this league.
And Steven Lorentz loves the clarity from Coach Berube.
Again, we just know our identity, and there's no secret to it. When it's pretty black and white, what the coach wants out of the line, and he makes that vocal, especially he did that at the start of the year, and makes it easy to go play your game. You don't really have to focus on trying to do too much and going out there and being flashy, or when it's just simplify, create energy, throw your body around.
Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart reporting. Joe Bowen and Jimmy Ralph standing by, getting set to describe the accounts and descriptions they've got assembled for tonight's game. The starting lineup would be Matthews between Marner and Nyes, Tavares centering Nylander and McMahon, Domi centering Lorentz and Pacioretty, and Camp centering Reeves and Dewar. On the blue line, Rielly, Myers, OEL Tanev, and Benoit and Timmins, and Wall starts in goal. What do you make of all that? A lot of changes there, Stu.
Yeah, and we talked about it being the mentors trip right now. So a little bit of a loose, atmosphere here as you're probably doing some team dinners and some team bonding. But the trips like this really bring the team together. But again, with sort of this lineup being reassembled, I think it's just sort of a big picture approach to this team, saying that they are first place right now in the division. They're, they don't necessarily have to, have an emphasis on getting these points. It's not a must win tonight, so you can sort of tinker with some lineups and it's good to see Ryan Reeves get in his first game of 2025, and he's going to add a little extra physical element, if not a deterrent, to a physical game the other night against the Philadelphia Flyers in Toronto. So it's good to see Bobby McMahon get a little bit of a bump up to the second line. He's been playing some great hockey, but I think that third line with Lorentz, Domi, and Pacioretty, I think are going to be pretty physical, to say the least. So I expect a physical affair tonight, but Leafs look right now, they have the roster and have the personnel to sort of match that physicality that the Flyers bring on a shift-by-shift basis.
And as we said earlier, with Pacioretty on the third line and Reeves in the fourth line, that should quiet down things in a hurry, right?
Yeah, and, for Pacioretty, he's not pretending to be a tough guy, and he's not going out there doing anything too much out of his element, but he's just coming in and playing accountable, making guys accountable. If you have your head down and you're in the corner, I'm going to run you, and I'm going to take a piece out of you, right? And, good on Max Domi, right? Sort of avenging, Hathaway in the fight. And, yes, you don't want to be throwing elbows out there, but I'd rather that than them doing nothing. So I expect some sort of response. I don't think it's going to be fireworks and line brawls or anything like that, but I think Toronto's going to return the favor and just trying to add a little bit more physicality, finish your checks, and show that you're not going to be pushed around, because the Flyers, I think that's what they're going to try to do tonight, try to run them out of the building. It's a home game. The Philadelphia Flyer fans are very, very rowdy. I remember getting the middle finger salute from a female fan right on the glass. But again, it's a very, very passionate fan base, and win, lose, or draw, if you bring that Broad Street Billy mentality where you're adding that physicality and you don't have that no-quit attitude, the fans will respect it. So I expect that tonight from the Flyers.
The opening faceoff is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this college football season.
The college football semifinals are finally here. Notre Dame versus Penn State, Texas versus Ohio State. The Buckeyes are a 5.5-point favorite over the Longhorns, and the Fighting Irish are 1.5-point favorites over the Nittany Lions. Make sure you tune into Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that. Enjoyed it in Boston. Love it here. Two organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes. And we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first-round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under Review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now, with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Flyers 4-4-2, loser in the game of the other night in Toronto. Leafs defend to the left and the Flyers to the right. And we are underway from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. As the puck is down in the Toronto zone, chopped along the boards and out into neutral ice and down off a stick, so there's no icing. Lorenz into the forecheck. Took a bit of a hit there from York's elbow. The puck turned over, but the Flyers are able to play it off a skate and get it to center ice, where it's ripped right back in again by Myers. Down the boards and around back of the net it'll go. Flyers chip it off the wall to get it to center, and out on the left wing side, trying to get in, was Bobby Brink. He was wedged off the puck there by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and now Tanev goes to his defense partner, and OEL gets it up at center, and it is backhanded down into the zone. Hathaway coming over the boards, but it is Tavares' line that's out for Toronto. Puck along the boards with Connor Timmins into the lineup in the absence of Jake McCabe. Here's Nylander wheeling in over the line. A nice little drop pass, and trying to go to the net was Morgan Rielly, but it was knocked away. And now it's cleared back down into the Toronto zone. Laid out into the neutral ice. Actually, that was Bobby McMahon going, not Rielly. 74, not 44. And it is the Flyers back in their own zone. Played up at center ice to the line, and broken up at the Leaf defense, and Matthews turns for Toronto with a pass ahead for Marner. He stops on a dime to get him some space, being chased there by Sandheim. Centering pass, and it didn't reach Matthews as it was gobbled up there by Paling, and he plays it into the Toronto zone. Matthews and Nyes getting to the puck, and Marner drops it off. Canna will skate it out at center, trying to flip it ahead for Marner. It goes down into Flyer territory. Marner centers, no one home. Comes to the line, and it's whistled wide of the net. As the Flyers have it, now it's a delayed offside that's going to be whistled down.
Almost got another goal from the point from a defenseman. Although you and I were talking before we went on the air that the Leafs had not scored from the blue line since November 30th when Chris Tanev did it against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now they've had 3 defensemen score in the last 2 games, and yet none of them from the point. Morgan Rielly in overtime. Oliver Ekman-Larsson jumped in from the point to shovel one home, top of the crease.
Underline shovel.
Yes.
Played into the Flyer zone, chopped high in the air over the head of Myers. He'll go back into the Toronto zone, and the puck comes out at center, and it is backhanded ahead by Connor Dewar. He gets it in over the line. Reeves on the ice here with David Camp on that line. Reeves fails to keep the puck in at the blue line. Took a run at one of the Flyers, and now some talking as he heads to the bench. Leafs with a lead pass to center, deflected down into the Flyer zone. Chopped along the boards to the line. Timmins trying to pinch to keep it in. Did for a moment, but it's poked out at center ice and brought on by Mitchkov. Sharp-angled shot. Whoa! Is just going to push himself just a tad more out from being swallowed up in the goal to make sure it's not going to count.
You know, I think what happened there was that, by the way, it was Hathaway that got a shot from behind by Brian Reeves going to the bench. Nothing came of it. But I think as soon as Wall thought, okay, he's got to go behind the net, it was launched short side from the goal line and almost caromed off the Leaf goaltender and in. No official shot on goal yet in this game.
So a face-off in the Toronto zone, 17:06 to play in the first period.
Toronto's reviewing the play to see if the puck crossed the goal line.
They're saying Toronto.
Why would Toronto want to review to see if the goal went across the goal line?
I think they might be referring to the offices as opposed to the team.
Oh, okay.
And so I imagine it's on this most recent play on Joseph Wall, right?
Yeah.
No, it's.
Well, if you can see it across the line, boys, you got better eyes than I do. Thank you. There was about $4,000 worth of hockey equipment in the way of seeing whether that puck went over the goal line, Mr. Ralph, and I may be understating the cost.
When I played, it was $300, and it didn't keep it out.
No, it didn't do damn thing. Played out at center ice. Flyers will launch it on the backhand down into the Toronto end, and it's going to be an icing call. So we will tell you that the face-off in the Flyers zone is brought to you by Alpine Credits. You own your own home and need a loan, Alpine Credits can help. Get approved at alpinecredits.ca.
Do you not find this is the most bizarre schedule we've ever seen?
Oh, I can't. Well, 16 back-to-back games is ridiculous.
Not only that, but you don't see the Islanders all year. Then you play them 3 times in, 5 games?
Yep.
Including back-to-back.
Don't see the Flyers.
And back-to-back.
Yep.
And they'll see Carolina for the first time on Thursday.
Played around back of the Leaf goal, centering pass on the slot, but a wrist shot by Sandheim went well wide of the net as it went off the toe of his stick. Leafs get it up on the wing, but don't get it out. Nylander tried to punch it out. Now Tavares against the boards in the defensive zone. Had it knocked away. Against the wall is Ekman-Larsson. Tavares unable to swat it ahead for Bobby McMahon. McMahon playing in his 100th NHL game. Puck comes back to the point. Sealer with a shot that went well wide and is caromed off the dasher board and gone out of play.
Okay, and I think this backs up what you and I have talked about before. If Flyers forward breaks his stick in the Leaf zone, he doesn't skate around without his stick.
Why wouldn't he? They do that in the defensive zone.
So he goes to the bench, gets his stick.
Yeah, but they're playing shorthanded then.
Oh, well, they still had the puck because the Leafs never got it out of their zone. So, yeah, that is one thing. And we have seen it cost the Leafs lately. And where was it? Long Island. Where Ekman-Larsson broke his stick.
Bouncing puck has gone behind the net. Wall didn't really know where it was. And he wasn't alone. I had no idea where it was either. Played around to the near boards. Chopped in there by Sealer around back of the net. Flyers trying to gain possession in the near corner. And Tanev dragged his man in and pinned him up against the wall. That's Bobby Brink with his nose up on the glass. And the puck comes out at center, and the Leafs are able to break it out. Now flipping it ahead. In on goal. Breakaway chance. And Nye shot it wide of the goal. Nye sitting along the boards. Plays to the far wing looking for a defenseman who had jumped into the rush. But the Flyers intercept and play it into neutral ice. Dewar leaves the puck for Camp. On the wing for Marner, who remains out there despite the fact his teammates have changed. Took a bit of a high stick, and gloves are off behind the plate. We can't see it because the camera hasn't shown it. And it's Dewar and Joel Farabee. Connor Dewar and Joel Farabee in a fist fight. And Dewar lands one, and now they're wrestled to the ground.
I'll check the internet.
Well, there goes that. The fourth line was the least penalized in the league when Camp took his second penalty for 4 minutes. Now Dewar goes from 0 penalty minutes to 5.
And I do not know how many.
Penalties on the plate, Toronto 24, Philly 86. 5 minutes each for fighting.
You've got that. Connor Dewar has fight against Anaheim, fight against Craig Smith with Dallas, Lauko with the Boston Bruins. Well, he's had a few in his career. Ryan Donato, Ryan Johnson.
So that's his first as a Leaf. Ryan Reeves has not had a fight this year. He had one in the preseason.
They'd get the 5-minute major, of course, for the...
Reeves had a great chance. Flyers come to center and across the line on the left wing with a shot. Wall deflects that into the corner. Tanev gets the puck out into the center ice area. Flyers regrouping at their own blue line. Now brought to center by Zamula. He'll play it in on the left wing. Or check that. No, it's Jamie Drysdale, number 9, not 5. And it's out at center ice now for Myers, who shoots the puck into the Flyer zone. Capped at the blue line. Long shot by the Leafs goes well wide of the net. Pacioretty back of the goal. Tavares tried to get that away from Lorenz. Lorenz back of the net, can't get it in front where Pacioretty was waiting. And the Leafs intercept a pass at the blue line, but can't get a shot directed at the net. Lorenz keeping it in along the boards. So is Domi. Now here's Pacioretty dropping it off into the slot area for Morgan Rielly, who takes a shot that went high and wide. And it's caromed all the way back into the Leaf zone, and Myers has to go back and pick it up.
Boy, with all the opportunities the Leafs have had, still not a shot on goal.
Philip Myers dishing it off for Tanev. Rink-wide pass. Brought to center ice by the Maple Leafs now, and Nylander fanned on his shot, and he was in good shooting position coming down the right wing. Flyers get it back at center. Up on the left wing and brought in over the line by Konechny. Konechny a drop pass and a shot, and it went off the goalpost and caroms to the blue line, and the Leafs break with a 2-on-1. Up on the right side now for Nylander, back in the left wing, and Bobby McMahon couldn't get a shot, and then when he did get it, he backhanded it wide of the goal. Nylander in the far corner. That's it back to the point. Oliver Ekman-Larsson into the corner. A sharp angle shot hits the side of the goal and now is covered up by Fedotov and will be held for a face-off. Little bit of everything going on here.
Boy, Willie Nylander, other than Matthew Nye's breakaway, Willie Nylander's had, 3 or 4 great looks and hasn't been able to deliver the puck to the net.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that, enjoyed it in Boston, love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes, and we're seeing some young guys get a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Face-off coming with the Leafs and the Flyers scoreless. And the face-off in the Philly zone. Myers gets it at the point. Got a shot away that didn't reach the net. Well, they've given Toronto 1 shot on goal, but for the love of hockey, I don't know when that was. Played around back at the net. And not to say the Leafs are playing badly. And just haven't had the
I don't
accuracy to get it on the net.
Nice never got a shot.
No. Nylander blew the great chance he had. Now Matthews turns in his own zone.
Well, Morgan Rielly might have been clipped with a high stick, held his face, and is still barking at the official in the Leaf zone.
Well, goaltender Wall is still in the net, so the other referee doesn't have his arm up. Only way we can tell, as it is shot down into the Flyer zone. punched around the boards to the near point, kept alive there by Hathaway, and he'll get it out at center and in across the line with a shot. Wall stops that, and Konechny and Benoit shoving a little bit. Nothing more develops of that. And face off in the Toronto zone.
If Philly doesn't look sharp right out of the gate either, and we talked about this before going on the air, first home game after a 6-game road trip. And sometimes, for whatever reason, teams struggle with that.
Yeah, why does analytics not have an answer for that?
Well, I'm sure they do.
Well, but then why don't we know about it?
Well, 'cause we don't know a lot about analytics.
Well, we just don't read it.
Well, that's what I mean. Somebody's
got it in his basement somewhere. Shot from the point goes wide of the Leafs. Oh, and a chance on the short side. Oh, and just getting there was David Camp, because Cam York had that opportunity glaring at him. Couturier in the corner, scores! Coming out of the corner. A tip-off Konechny, I believe, and the Flyers, as they did the other night, have the opening goal of the hockey game.
Konechny's going to get it. I don't even think he got everything on the shot he took. He seemed to fan on it as they get cycling down low, but yeah, this might have bounced off Connor Timmins in front of the net. Taking another look.
He was
two players there.
Yep.
Garnet Hathaway was the Flyer, but the Leafs' fourth line got caught in their own zone and end up giving up the first goal of the evening.
8:19, the time of the goal for Konechny, their leading point getter, and that's his 19th of the season. Another shot deflects into the Toronto end, and now backhanded high to center ice and down into Flyer territory. Drysdale goes back, playing it back at the net. Two Leafs arrive on the scene, and Domi comes away with the puck after a big hit there by Steven Lorenz. Domi centering pass comes back to the blue line, but it's going to bounce over the stick of Tanev, and the Leafs have to go back into neutral ice to regroup. Pass up on the right side now for Domi. Played in along the boards. Craft there, and the Flyers start back up ice. Right wing side for Ryan Poehling. Poehling trying to drive, and he got knocked down by Morgan Rielly. Played around the boards, and Lorenz will drop it back. Lorenz getting it to Myers, who got it around the boards, but Rielly couldn't help him out. Played by the Flyers in on the far boards now. Cycled back behind the net. Cut off by Morgan Rielly. Fed up on the wing, but Pacioretty wasn't able to reach it. It comes back to the point. D to D now to Zamula. Into the slot area, trying to get a shot away is Owen Tippett. That stopped the backhand try. Wall down. Shoved into the net by Tippett. Comes back to the point now. Here's Tippett with it again. Into the left wing corner. Trying to walk around was Poehling. Back to Tippett. Tippett getting it to Konechny. Back to Tippett. Tippett on the near half boards with a long shot that went wide of the net. Cleared to the line, and it's going to come out into the center ice area.
Well, boy, Philadelphia may not have looked sharp early, but the Leafs are giving them all kinds of time and space in their own end now.
Brought out now by Austin Matthews. Matthews with Nyes. Drops it into the right wing corner, goes in there after it, but can't come up with it. Played up on the wing by Noah Cates. Flyers don't get it out, though. Matthews stole it back. Marner into the forecheck, trying to get it away there from the defenseman Sandheim. And the Flyers now with Bobby Brink able to bring it out at center. Played it in on a backhand pass, and a good one to Sandheim, and a shot was whistled wide of the goal by Forrester. Leafs get it out at center. Here's Nyes for Marner. Marner with a shot, and that was just off the mark wide on the far side. Oliver Ekman-Larsson being forced back by Sean Couturier. Rings the backboards with it to find his defense partner, and Tanev gets it ahead, trying to drive it over the line. And a penalty coming as Bobby McMahon has the DNA evidence hung up in his equipment.
And Jamie Drysdale, this is a pretty good penalty to take, as Bobby McMahon making that power move coming off the right wing side, and that was after a great pass from the Leafs zone by Chris Tanev. Set McMahon in, but the Leafs will go to the first power play of the night.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall, From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebration.
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us again for another Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game. We play the Flyers again. 2 games against the Islanders, 2 games against the Flyers. We're 3 out of 3. Let's go get it! Just wanted to say thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us, cheering on our Leafs every single game here on TSI and making a difference in our community with SickKids. I've got a lot of work to do to get ready for the college football playoff games and the NFL playoff games coming up over the next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing out that campaign link when the football games are on. And we'll see you back in the chat. Go Leafs, go!
/450.
What a shot.
Tennis hits different down under.
That is absolutely extraordinary.
So don't miss a moment. The Australian Open, January 11th to 26th on TSN and TSN Plus. Subscribe now.
Cliantha Research is recruiting participants for a clinical research study. If you're 18 to 65 years of age and in good health, you may be eligible. Qualified participants are eligible to receive up to $4,000. Visit @cliantha.com. That's @cliantha.com.
Maple Leafs trail 1-0 to the Philadelphia Flyers, but go to the power play, and the power play is brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Enjoy winter to the fullest with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today.
The Leafs only had the 1 power play against the Flyers on Sunday night. Philadelphia was able to kill that off. Toronto 4 for 17 over their last 7.
Drysdale gets the penalty for holding.
Like we said, there are good penalties and there are bad penalties. That was a good penalty. Took away a scoring chance.
Tavares will take the face-off against Cates, who wins it cleanly. Flyers ripping it around the boards, and it gets past Morgan Rielly, and down the ice it goes.
55 seconds. Jamie Drysdale, Flyers, 2-minute minor, holding.
Rielly behind the net. Starts straight up ice, looks to maybe drop it back, does off the boards, but he gave it away. And this is Cates trying to drive the net. Wrap-around attempt just went through the blue paint. Rielly didn't bank it hard enough to get it back to where it was supposed to be going. Now Nylander decides to bring it in over the line himself. Works to the left wing boards. Now backhanding it around back of the net. Tavares couldn't get to it. Grabbed off there by the Flyers, and they're going to launch it off the boards and down the ice. Philadelphia is currently, well, not very good at the penalty killing department. They are 19th in the National Hockey League. Nylander across the line. Trying to chip it in. It goes to Matthews. Back to the point. Settled there by Marner. Back on the left wing for Matthews. Mount Marner with a wrist shot that deflected wide of the goal. Rielly is back at the net. Gets it back to the point. Quickly over for Willie. And the one-timer went high and wide. Marner trying to keep it in, but he can't. Out of midair, it's swatted out and down the ice by Philadelphia. A quick up by Tavares didn't work. Flyers get a chance to handle the puck in their own end, and now we'll fire it off the boards and send it down into the Toronto end.
Now that one shot that we couldn't remember, they've taken it off the board. The Leafs still do not have a shot on goal here in the first period.
And you know what? That's because we got a good memory.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because we couldn't remember it. Shot down into the zone. Chance goes wide of the goal. Played up on the near boards by the Flyers. They get it to the line, not out. Left wing, back to the point, it goes to Domi. Domi walks to the left wing half boards, back to the point. Fed off on the wing by Ekman Larsson. OEL with it again with a wrist shot that doesn't reach the net. Went wide. Flyers get it out, and they're back at full and even strength. Played back in over the line by Toronto. McMahon gets it into the corner. Bobby McMahon after the puck around back of the net, tried to find Nyes in front. That didn't connect. Flyers with the puck with 6:40 to play here in the first period. 1-0 Philadelphia. Down into the left wing corner goes Frost. Frost taken to the boards. Puck is free. Leafs come out with it. Have a couple of players trapped if they can get it ahead in time. But McMahon couldn't handle the pass. Shot right back down into Toronto territory. Timmins has his pass go off a skate. Gets it back again, and now Benoit having difficulty with the forecheck. Centering pass, broken up by Toronto. Leafs with David Camp trying to move the puck up the wing, and does, but not cleanly to Dewar. And the Flyers have it again to center and shoot it right back in again. Wall giving it off to his defense. Pass up on the wing finds Reeves, who plays it in over the line. Tippett will play it back into the center ice area. And it's played down to the Leaf goaltender where Wall leaves it. Now Domi, a long left wing feed. Trying to work in over the line. There was Reeves. It comes back into the front. It's shot, and there is the first shot on goal. It's Max Domi. With Lorenz in front of the net. And Fedotov makes his first save.
Boy, and this very nearly, Joe, gets over the right pad and under the blocker of the Flyer goaltender, who was able to clamp down on it, keep it out.
He pushed away from the net, hoping it didn't drop in. 1-0 Philadelphia. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that. Enjoyed it in Boston. Love it here. Two organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes. And we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scored the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The Leafs have a mentors trip going, and when we were allowed to travel, this was my favorite trip of the year because it usually had the dads, and that one year they had the moms who came, but the mentors are people that the players felt had a big impact on their careers. So Joe Thornton has been brought by Austin Matthews, Wendell Clark and Doug Gilmour are there. Mike O'Shea was brought along by Todd Bean, one of the training staff, and Reed Mitchell, who is organizing it all and looking after everybody, says he brought along Scarborough Bluffs garbage night legend Pat King, whoever that may be. Played into the zone by the Flyers, who lead 1-0. Around back of the net, Ristolainen got it out in front and got the goal line. Oh, this will be tough. Waved off by the official. Oh, I'm telling you, and right behind him is David Camp, and Joe Wall is lying there, and that puck, if it was a half an inch from going in, I'd be very surprised. We'll get another look at it as they untangle.
Boy, I mean, this was just a wraparound play where it was thrown out to the top of the crease. And the most fortunate part of that, Joe, is the Flyers. I think that was Mitchkoff. Couldn't get his stick. Was sort of stuck on the outside of the net. Or caught up.
I think it was stuck underneath the pad.
Yeah.
Underneath the pad. Yes, yeah. Wall had it underneath his pad because if he has any leverage to it at all, he's able to pry that in. And a shot off the faceoff goes wide of the Leaf goal. Leafs break it out now with Matthews. One-on-one in over the line. Matthews on the left wing side. And his wrist shot went well wide. Back to the point, Tanev in for Marner. Marner centers in front. They bang away at it. Down trying to get to it was Fedotov, and it's into the far corner. The battle maintains itself. Played back by Nyes to the point. Tanev with the deflection off Nyes, but it was blocked before it reached the net. Flyers are flipping it down to the Toronto blue line with 4:15 to go in the first. Philadelphia leading 1-0. Leafs moving left to right. Got it up on the center ice area for Nylander. He weaves to the left wing boards. Works into the corner. Stops up. Got it in front. Bobby McMahon. Couple of whacks at it, but never made contact. Flyers break back the other way. Rielly trying to get it away. Oh, and a good pad save made by Wall as it was lifted over Rielly's stick. A penalty coming here to Philadelphia.
I don't know if this is going to be a boarding call or maybe charging as a Leaf defenseman got pasted into the boards. I mean, it can't be interference. The puck was there.
Owen Tippett, I think, is going to get the penalty.
Shots on goal have now grown to 8-1. John Tortorella doesn't like this call. I mean, I thought it was just a pretty good hit.
2-minute minor, 40.
You know, Morgan Rielly is now a little bit
from
numbers.
Behind.
Yeah.
So Tippett in the box. Leafs to their second power play, and their first was not very effective. Brought to you by your Ontario Subaru dealers. Enjoy winter to the fullest with the symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. Leafs win the face-off. Matthews centering pass. Backhand feed by Tavares hit a skate. And three of the Flyers break the center, and Marner's the lone defenseman. Marner trying to break it up. He did. It rolls in front of the net, and the Leafs are going to play it ahead and get it out of harm's way. That looked like a kid with his coat off, playing defense, who's never played it before on your park rink. I'll just spread out here, put a lot of equipment out in the way, and it worked.
Barely. It's still got the Joseph Wall and a little bit of a hard check for the Leafs on that. And again, the power play has just been abysmal, and we're not talking about can't finish.
No.
We can't get a chance.
Pass, bad one, intercepted, breakaway. Flyers have a breakaway in on goal that rolled off the stick, though, of Hathaway. Well, maybe it was in the right hands. Comes to the side of the net, and Joseph Wall says, you know what? This power play ain't working real well. I'm going to hang on to this, and maybe the coach will get some new folk out here to help out.
Well, I mean, this is another one. You don't want to take any creativity away from Mitch Marner whatsoever, but this is a behind the back, through the legs pass, right onto the tape of a Philadelphia player who takes off from inside his own end on the breakaway. Shots on goal now have grown to 9-1 for Philadelphia.
And it's not that the Leafs haven't had zone time and opportunities. They just haven't hit the net. Right wing side for McMahon. Bank pass to Timmins at the point. D to D, it goes to Domi. Domi back to Timmins. Timmins returns the favor. Now he gets it back again. Middle of the ice to Domi on the left wing side. Pass on the wing for Rielly. That didn't work. And Rielly makes a horrible pass past Timmins, and it goes all the way down into the Leaf end. 23 seconds left and a horrific power play for Toronto. Brought in over the line by Timmins. He loses it. Knocked down on the play. Domi has to get on his horse to get back and gets it up on the wing, and now Nyes will feed it ahead, and Timmins drops for Domi. Max Domi to center. In on the left wing for Nyes. Nyes double teamed over there. No support till it arrives in the form of Max Domi. They battle for it. The Leafs come out of the scrum with Bobby McMahon back to the point to Tanev. His wrist shot was well wide. Domi traps at the far half boards. Back to the point. Long shot by Ekman Larsson was 20 feet wide of the net. Flyers have got it again with 1:20 to go in the first, and they have a 1-0 lead and should have more. Frost in over the line, got a wrist shot away, and Wall saw that one all the way and made an easy glove save of it. With 1:08 left to play in the period. Face off in the Toronto zone to his right.
Well, I didn't find it. 3 times in Toronto Maple Leaf history did they fail to record a single shot on goal against the opposition. Most recently, 2017 against the New Jersey Devils. Before that, they're all fairly recent. 2000 against Buffalo, 2013 against Pittsburgh, the other 2 times.
Puck along the boards, deflects high into the air. Nylander settles it down and gets it off on the left wing, and Benoit will get to the red line and punch it into the zone. Down the boards goes Marner. Nylander trying to help out. He's out there with Matthews as well. Brought on by the Flyers to the blue line, into the slot area. Backhand pass in front, and it was intended there for Morgan Frost. I think the tippy toe of Wall got in the way, and then a shot here goes well wide of the goal. A centering pass gobbled up by the Leafs. Fed ahead for Marner, who glances at the clock, see how much time is left before he sends a bouncing shot in for number 2 on the period. And that was an easy save for Fedotov. Going 2 for 2 in the shots is not really going to help his save percentage much, is it? Down into the corner in the Leaf zone.
If it stays this way, it'll help his winning percentage.
Yes, well, no kidding. And there is the horn that ends a period.
And, obviously you're going to go through games when you don't have it, periods you don't have it. There have been periods where the Leafs haven't been sharp. This might be the period of the year that they were bad. I mean, there was just no execution in their own zone. They got caught running around, unforced turnovers, and probably if there is an upside to it, it's only a 1-0 game for Philadelphia. Downside is, the next power play is most likely going to the Flyers.
Well, there was a fight in the first period, but it wasn't the fight that everyone may have anticipated. It was Connor Dewar in his first fight as a Maple Leaf and taking his first penalty minutes as a Maple Leaf against Joel Farabee. And that was early on in the first period. 1-0 on a goal by Travis Konechny. And we'll ship it off as we have Jim Taddy along with Mr. Stewart standing by. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Queen Bee's reign had just begun.
Big, Pac, Dre.
Hey, hockey fans. Thanks for hanging out with us. You see that chat flying. You see all these Leafs fans in here hanging out, enjoying the game, cheering on our Leafs. Go, Leafs, go. We really appreciate you being here. If you have not hit that subscribe button, if you're just new here, if this is one of the first games you've been hanging out with us here, come on, get on it. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell. We are getting really close to 75,000 subscribers, and soon we're going to be going to get that plaque at 100K. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell. Now let's get back to the best call in the business. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. Go, Leafs, go. We'll see you back in there.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only 2 players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under Review
with Mick Kerr.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scored the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
And trailing 1-0 to Philadelphia after 20 minutes of play. TSN After 20 is driven by Subaru. Get out and winter with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Visit your local Subaru dealer to book a test drive today. 1-0 for the Flyers. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart with you. Stu, here's the question. Just what was that?
I thought you were going to say, where's Joe Thornton when you need him, right? And again, they came out flat. And again, I don't think there's enough adjectives to describe the flatness that they did come out with. And they did have an early shot, but they took it back, and it was 10-2. And Philadelphia just sort of took it to them, and they got the puck in deep. They were cycling the plays and sort of catching Toronto a little bit flat-footed. They were sort of discombobulated in the D zone, turning pucks over. And official count right now, giveaways is 6 for Toronto, only 1 for Philadelphia. And again, the one spark is they did have the fight with Connor Dewar versus Farabee, and it's good to see him get involved in the truculence. You saw Ryan Reeves asked Hathaway. I saw that on the screen, but I was not obliging to that. So I think they just need to find a way to come back and have a good, solid second period. But I think the silver lining is, and Ralphie mentioned it, is they're only down 1-0. So again, they know that next penalty is coming on them. Again, the power play was not great in any sense of the word. They gave up a breakaway to Garnet Hathaway, and good thing he was wearing his 2 left skates on there, or it could have easily been 2-0. So if I'm Craig Berube, I'm obviously not too happy, but you got to focus on the positives, and you're only down 1, and you get 1 back, you're back into this game.
That Hathaway breakaway shorthand is a dream I have, and it ends the same way, oddly enough.
On your face. In a puddle of drool. Yeah.
Wow. But that power play, I mean, that's their second power play, and they gave it away twice. There was a 2-on-1. The Flyers had some golden opportunities, and the Leafs, I don't think they had a shot on goal on neither one of those power plays.
No, they did not. And, it's just sometimes you just try to overskill it and overthink it, right? You saw the back passes off the wall. You're going between the legs. It's just, I don't think they were really prepared, right? And again, it could be the bencher's trip, right? You're not as dialed in as you are. You have friends and family. You're going to dinners. You're probably standing up a little bit later. You're entertaining. And, it's the National Hockey League where you have to be dialed in for 82 games. But again, I think they have enough equity where, yes, I guess we can give them a period off, though it's probably one of the worst of the entire season. But for me, as a coach, and an analyst, it's not the mistakes, it's how you respond. And I'm expecting a really solid first 5-10 minutes. And I think, I would not be surprised. I'm not forecasting. I'm just saying, in the league that I once played with, you probably see another fight or two before this second period gets too far underway.
Well, some sort of engagement. I got to go way back to, October 22nd, the game in Columbus where they looked that bad. I mean, this is disjointed. And oddly enough, the fight sort of sets up the goal because it's a Leaf defensive zone face-off, and the fourth lines are out there. But because Dewar's gone, McMahon's on the fourth line, and because Farabee's gone, Konechny's on the fourth line, and he scores.
Yeah, and, Konechny, you saw him sort of get involved with Benoit, right? And, again, he's one of those players I think you just let sleep because he elevates his game the more physical it gets. Same thing with Couturier. And, you can say it was a bad bounce. It went off Ryan Reeves' stick, but it just starts with, a little bit more urgency in the D zone. And, you're seeing the Flyers players just come up the wall. There's not really a lot of pressure. They're almost playing that zone defense where, on the road, you want to take it to them. This is supposed to be a physical battle after the response of losing one of your top defensemen the game before. I just expected a little bit more urgency, a little bit more gumption, and effort, coming into Philadelphia, which is a tough building. The fans don't cheer for the Flyers. They cheer against the opposing team. So they got caught flat-footed. But for me, it's like, okay, let's just see what type of night it is by the first 5-7 minutes of this second period, excuse me.
Now, do you think something can be said in there, or somebody, realizes how that was and they can correct it, or is this just going to be the night?
I think it's just going to be one of those nights, right? Just because, they've been on a high, right? And we know there's going to be the highs and lows. There's going to be a dip. They've won 4 in a row, and they've been playing good. We talked about them having a 4-point cushion, and they mixed up some of the lines. They took Nick Robertson out of it, so they were playing with house money, I guess, a little bit by putting this lineup together. But I think it's inexcusable. It is the NHL. You have to have a grade A effort every night. So I would not be surprised to see maybe some of these lines maybe change up again, and maybe a couple guys sitting if they're not bringing their A game.
Well, they just didn't look bright, is the nicest way to say it. There's that power play where Morgan Rielly's breaking the puck out of his zone. There's a forechecker on him, and he banks it off to do the back pass, and it goes right to a Flyer. The guy was forechecking him. I mean, that just wasn't bright.
No, it was not. It's not. And I think it was just maybe, again, it could be the moment, right? We're coming out of the new year. It's the mentors trip. They're showing Reeves' brother in the stands, Benoit's brother, Jumbo's up there as well. But again, I think they got a rude awakening, and I'm sure they're going to respond a little bit better. But Ralphie made the perfect point, saying that they're expecting probably the next penalty going against them.
Oh, yeah.
They got to make sure it's a one that they earn. So nothing, 200 foot from the net, no tripping, hooking, slashing. It's got to be a good one, because you go down to in Philadelphia, which is a tough building. It might be too tough of a hill to climb for the final 20 minutes.
Well, and I thought our technical issues were bad. Wow, look out. Okay, so Philadelphia
zing.
Yeah. Philadelphia 1-0 over the Leafs. This is Wolves of Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuss shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Ah, at last, the Subaru winter is here. It's the perfect weather for the beach.
What's up, hockey fans? How we doing tonight? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight for the Flyers and the Leafs doing battle once again, this time in the city of brotherly love. Let's get the brooms out and get the sweep of the Flyers in the home and home series. Please hit that like button down below. Let's get more hockey fans here in the chat as well. Please share the link. If you're on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, please share the link out. That helps bring more Leafs fans to our awesome community. Now let's get back to the hockey. We'll see you guys back in there. We got to cheer loud tonight. Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs, go!
Visit TorontoBoatShow.com.
Sleep Country presents Chris, opening holiday socks again. Got gifts like Chris? Then Sleep Country's Boxing Week deals are for you. Get the Serta Daystar Queen mattress for as low as $5.99, our lowest price ever until Tuesday. Plus, for a limited time, save the tax on everything and ask us about our unbeatable price guarantee so you always get the best deals. Get the gift you really wanted during the Boxing Week event at Sleep Country. Hurry, don't miss out. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Brian Hayes, and I've got to tell you why Planet Fitness works for me, and I know it will work for you. First and foremost, it's safe, clean, and a breeze to get in and out of because I use the Planet Fitness mobile app. And with most gyms being open 24/7 and the crowd meter feature on the app, I can work out on my schedule, not the gym schedule. So sign up today at planetfitness.ca or pop into any of the dozens of locations throughout the GTA and get back in the gym at Planet Fitness.
TSN and TSN Plus take you courtside, showcasing the NBA's biggest stars.
Steph Curry. Oh, blocked by James.
From opening tip through the NBA Finals.
Anything's possible.
The NBA lives on TSN and TSN Plus.
I'm the puck that just won't bounce your way.
I'm the gust of wind that makes the field goal miss.
I'm the final shot that bounces out. Yeah, that's me. I'm random. And before you bet more than you can afford to lose, remember, I'm always in play. Learn more at gamblingisrandom.ca.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go out of town for a great new Tundra RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Elsewhere, 9 of the games. Minnesota 2-0 over the Blues. That's in the first period. Also in the first, Jets 2-0 over the Predators. The rest are in the second. Jackets and Penguins tied at 1. Oilers 2-0 over Boston. McDavid has a goal there. Detroit 1-0 over the Ottawa Senators. Lightning and Hurricanes tied at 1. And what else do we have in the second? Rangers now with a lead over the Stars 3-2, and the rest are yet to start, so we'll get into those later on. It's 1-0 with the Flyers over the Leafs in our game. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this college football season.
The college football semifinals are finally here. Notre Dame versus Penn State, Texas versus Ohio State. The Buckeyes are a 5.5-point favorite over the Longhorns, and the Fighting Irish are 1.5-point favorites over the Nittany Lions. Make sure you tune in to Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that, enjoyed it in Boston, love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes, and we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Join me, Ward Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Leafs trail 1-0 to the Philadelphia Flyers as Konechny getting the goal. Travis's 19th of the season. And it came at 8:19 of the period. The shots. Well, that's the good news in the back. Oh, hey! Leafs have got 2 now. They had 1, then they fell back to 0, and then they got 1, and now they have 2. So.
Well, and the second one was Mitch Marner flipping it from center.
Yeah, well, I didn't say it was a good shot.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, the Flyers only had 10, but it is 1-0 Philadelphia after the period. Now, attempts at goal, that might be an interesting little thing. Let's take a look at that, Mr. Ralph. For the Maple Leafs, they had 8 attempts at the net, or 8 attempts blocked, and 10 attempts missed. for a total of 20. And for the Flyers, it was 24. So,
I mean, and
it's a stat that is misleading at times.
Yeah, and the Leafs had the better opportunities early. You had the McMahon opportunity, Matthew Nyes in a breakaway, Willie Nylander coming down the wing, and none of those opportunities resulted in a shot on goal.
Exactly. Second period brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian Ultra, Export, or XL, there's a Molson with your name on it. Leafs defend the goal to the right, the Flyers to the left. We're set at center ice. And the puck is dropped, and we're underway. Pacioretty plays it to the blue line. Flyers control there and punch it up on the wing, and it's chopped down into the Toronto end. Wall out of the goal to send it around back the other way. That was blocked, but Domi is able to come away with it. Max gets it up on the left wing. Pacioretty dropping it off for Rielly. Back to Pacioretty. In on goal, and the shot went wide. And the goaltender is down.
Now, did a stick come up maybe and clip him?
I don't know or did he get kind of like an ice chip? I think that Lorenz going to the net stopped, and he showered him.
2-minute minor for high sticking.
Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe not. Oh, no, it's the Flyers who are getting a penalty. Yeah, no, he just got snow showered.
Wow, I mean, he went down like he was hurt.
Yeah. But the penalty is against Philadelphia for high sticking.
Boy, and I thought Steven Lorenz might have got his stick up because he sort of motioned the high sticking portion of the penalty, and I thought he was admitting guilt on it.
That's the first time I've seen a goaltender injured from a snow shower. No, really. I honestly don't believe I have ever seen that. Now, I've seen guys get upset at somebody snow showering their goalie. I've seen that. But that's the first time I've ever seen. Maybe it's the fresh ice. I don't know. Leafs win the draw, but it's off a stick, and it's going down into the Toronto end. Did you ever get injured by a snow shower?
Well, had my feelings hurt many times, which put me on IR.
That counts. Well, got you out of the net, too, probably. That's strange. And the Leafs power play has just been abysmal. They can't get across center ice here. Now it's dropped back into the Leaf end.
And I really think that's what got Philadelphia going, was the penalty kill.
Here's Nylander to the line. Just got it across the line. Marner drops it back to him. Nylander around back of the net. Marner looks in front, still has it, works it back to the point. One-timer by Matthews. That went wide. Marner's able to trap it and keep it alive. Now Nyes, top of the circle, left wing side, gives it to Matthews, back to Marner, back to Matthews on the left wing, won't shoot it. Now it goes to Tavares, he'll shoot it, and he scores! I don't think that's a good goal. If you're a goalie.
Oh, I was thinking, are we going to see a review here? Yeah, he gets caught deep in his net. Well, we're looking at this might be challenged as an offside, as John Tavares may have jumped the gun on the entry. But we have not heard any kind of challenge yet. But John Tavares, I mean, Fedotov, Joe, just sort of stays on the goal line, doesn't he?
Oh, and down in the butterfly, and then he misses it with the glove.
Yeah, but he's hugging the near post when the puck is more towards the middle of the ice. So he basically dared Tavares to hit that corner, and they dropped the puck. So it's a good goal.
No challenge. And Tavares has hit the 20-goal mark.
His 20th of the season.
So John Tavares, for the 15th time, has scored 20 goals or more in the National Hockey League. Where would they be without John Tavares this year? Laid down around back of the net. Reeves after it, gets a hit in over there on Nick Seelier. Now it comes back into the slot area. Here are the Flyers working down into the corner. Centering pass comes all the way back to the blue line. Off the stick of Reeves, it'll come to center ice. Reeves after it, but can't get it away from Owen Tippett. Flyers regroup it and play it up on the wing and send it down into the Toronto end, but an errant pass. And it turns into an icing, and it'll come back into the Philadelphia zone. Tavares from Matthews and Marner. is the scoring play for Toronto, but that was really a bad goal for a goaltender to give up, in my humble estimation.
He committed to when Tavares was closer to the goal line when he got it. Then Tavares backs into the circle, the left wing circle.
You got to stand up.
Fedotov just stayed, sort of hugged against the near post. And going to give John Tavares that much time and that much room. He's going to make you pay for it, and he does.
Another icing here against Philadelphia will be brought back. 15 seasons of 20 or more goals. Not a bad little track record for the young man from Toronto, the former Toronto Marlborough minor hockey star. Whoop. Stepping on the puck there was Nick Seeler. He went for a slide, and the Leafs were able to get it down into the zone again. Here's Tavares working into the slot, trying it again. This time, the goaltender was out, taking the angle away, and Fedotov had to go off his shoulder. Tavares gets it back in neutral ice, and the Leafs regroup it at their own blue line. Up ahead for Nylander along with Rielly. Rielly down into the left wing corner. Plays it around the boards to the far side, but Tavares couldn't trap it. Flyers are able to break it out into neutral ice. In on the right side, trying to work on the backhand play, and it was stopped, but the net has been dislodged. Rielly colliding with one of the Flyers on the far side, and that was Garnet Hathaway, who probably was challenging Rielly to a fight, since there was no damage of anything happening there.
Oh, I go a little further with John Tavares in the 15 seasons with 20 goals or more. The only active players with more seasons of 20 goals or more: Ovechkin 19, Crosby and Kane 16, and Malkin 15. So
pretty heady company.
Yeah, Tavares pulls even with Evgeny Malkin in that category. Steven Stamkos, by the way, has 14 consecutive 20-goal seasons, or 14 20-goal seasons.
Played around the boards for Bobby McMahon. He gets it out at center. Matthews starts away with Nylander, who's going to the bench. Matthews was going to drop it back to him, but Willie was already at the bench, and Marner hadn't arrived on the scene. Played high to center ice now by Philadelphia. Benoit pounds it off the boards and gets it out. Rolling puck to an open wing. Look out. Good hit there by Myers, and it's around back into the Toronto zone. Pass up on the left wing side. Marner trying to get it ahead for Nyes, but he was ridden off the puck by Noah Cates. Back come the Flyers in on the left wing, broken up at the blue line. Nyes trying to get away, but can't. Now trying to outfight his man for the puck. It comes free, and the Maple Leafs are able to get it to Nyes again, and he shoots it down into Flyer territory. Maybe the hottest Leaf, Matthew Nyes. Here's Marner poking to an open corner. Domi trying to get there to pry it out of a maze of legs, and does. Sidled over on the near side for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. OEL looks in front, goes to the far side. Trapped over there by Domi. Back to the blue line. It'll come to OEL again. Shot coming, and swallowed up by Ivan Fedotov, who was Fedotov the other night until we got corrected.
Yeah, talking to Tim Saunders, who does the Philadelphia Flyers radio broadcast. We got into the conversation, and he mentioned, he let me know, he said this is the first time Fedotov has started back-to-back games, and I went, oh.
Well, it'll be the first time he plays against the Leafs.
Yeah. But he was solid. I mean, gave up 2 first-period goals to the Leafs, then shut the door until overtime.
Draw one by Toronto. Backhanded into the corner then by Benoit. And the Flyers just get rid of it and get it out into the center ice area. So the penalty to York is a costly one. Leafs now 1 for 3, and a shot by Pacioretty was fanned on. Long lead pass brings the Flyers into the Leaf zone. Mitchkov dropping it into the slot area. It comes back to the point. Trying to get a shot away was Lawton. That was blocked. And the Maple Leafs will just launch it high into neutral ice. This is going to land and go for icing. And it'll be whistled down by the linesman, Derek Nansen. He's working with Caleb Apperson, Corey Sevret, and Francois Talleyrand are the referees.
Boy, and you'd like a cleaner play than that, wouldn't you? Pacioretty had some time and space in his own end. Instead of trying to reverse it or anything, he tries to lob it out of the zone, and it's going to cost him a face-off in their own end.
Face off to the right of Joseph Wall. And scrummed, but poked to an open wing. Pacioretty will get there with a little bit of room, but doesn't get it out. Flyers keep again. Nice play by Konechny. Got it into the slot. Oh, and a wrist shot by Ryan Poehling went wide of the goal, and he was all by his little old lonesome.
Boy, what a tough shift for Pacioretty. Missed a chance on a one-timer, iced the puck, and then got absolutely danced on the right wing boards. That led to the Flyers scoring opportunity, but not a shot on goal. 10-5 the shot. So Philadelphia does not have a shot here in the second period. But boy, what a move that was. Through the legs of Pacioretty and then eventually out towards the front of the net.
Yeah, Poehling shot it wide of the goal. What a great opportunity. 14:59 to go in the second. 1-1 tie. Draw one by Toronto, but Nyes couldn't drag it out in front of the net. Almost stole it again. Flyers get it out, and Konechny gets across the line with a couple of nifty little moves, and when he got the shot away, it was blocked there by Myers. Myers goes around back of the net. I don't know if the arm went up or not, but one of the Flyer players went down. And is Marner getting a hooking penalty?
I believe so. And I mean, it was slightly into the hands.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, we know what that was. And
it's 3-0.
Yeah, we can't be surprised by it. Let's put it this way. Craig Berube had the exact look on his face that John Tortorella did three times
earlier. Yep. Leafs on the penalty kill. Off the skate, it comes into the slot, and mishandling it there was Mitchkov. Mitchkov with it again, got a shot away. Oh, he had the near side, but he shot it off a leg wide. Leafs getting it to the line, but not out. Trapped by Ristolainen. In along the boards of far. Cross-ice pass. Big save by Wall coming across, and he got his body in front of that. Ristolainen trying to keep it in. Fight is right at the blue line there with David Camp getting some assistance from Matthews, and the puck comes up and strikes Matthews.
Offside? Or is that a stick that might have caught him? And Matthews trying to show there might be some blood there. I don't think there is. But the Flyer power play might be done after 38 seconds.
I thought it was the puck.
Penalty number 71. Truman Minor for high sticking.
Oh, okay. Dragging it back. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, yep. Forrester's going to go. So, I mean, that's careless use of the stick. I mean, he wasn't even looking at Matthews, but had his stick head high and was turning and dragged it right across the chops of the Leaf captain. So 4-on-4 for minute 22, but Matthews will go to the bench, and of course Marner's serving the penalty, so they won't have them available as a duo for the 4-on-4.
Minute 22 of 4-on-4 hockey. The Leafs will get a 38-second power play. Again, one of the reasons, with all of this analytics, couldn't we have percentage of scoring per minute?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can have a power play that's 1 second long, and you get penalized for it because you didn't score.
Or rewarded. Somebody gets rewarded on the penalty kill.
Brought out at center ice by Philadelphia. 4-on-4 as they work in on the left wing with a shot. Wall blockered that into the corner. Puck along the boards is pushed out at center ice by Willie Nylander. And Willie needs to get going. He is in a bit of a cold slump. Along the boards, it's centered by Tavares. No one there. Flyers back in our own zone.
And Willie hasn't scored in 7 and doesn't have a point in his last 3.
And he had been the hottest Leaf. Long shoot in by Nylander. Goes wide. Domi against the boards on the near side. Back into the slot. The pass in front of the net. Looking for Morgan Rielly, and it didn't connect. Domi's able to keep the puck in. He's hooked to the ice, which was a penalty that didn't get called. And now the Flyers start out of their own end with 30 seconds left in 4-on-4. To the line and in. Working into the slot area, trying to come up with it. Dropped off by Scott Lawton to the left wing side. Flyers keep it alive. Back out to Ristolainen. Ristolainen on the near boards. Works it back to the blue line. Konechny's gone to the front of the net, but the puck goes around the boards, and Bobby McMahon comes away with it, plays it into the near corner. The Leafs are about to go on the power play in 7 seconds' time. But Timmins is having pocket picked in a goal, and they score!
That's going to be a short-handed goal. 4-on-4 it ended, and Connor Timmins got pickpocketed just to the left of Joseph Wall. It was thrown out in front. Puck is slid between Wall's pads. Well, my apologies. Still 2 seconds left in the 4-on-4. But it was Noah Cates with the takeaway. And this was, almost similar, Joe, to when Pasternak pickpocketed John Tavares Saturday against the Boston Bruins. It's just, you don't have that much time and space to try to make a play.
Now the Leafs are on the power play. Nylander in with a shot that deflects high in the air. He gets it back again. Marner can't get it back to the point to Tavares. Flyers get it out in center ice. Now Matthews playing it deeper into his own zone. Well, Connor Timmins drawing back into the lineup in the absence of Jake McCabe, and he hasn't done himself any favors in the eyes of the coaching staff with that giveaway. Along the boards, the Leafs try to get it back to the point. They do. Ekman-Larsson far side. Tavares gets it back to Marner. Marner on the far half boards to Matthews. Scores! I think the power play was over, but the Leafs have tied the game as Austin Matthews set up by his buddy, and it's 2-2.
Great response by the Leafs, who have in recent games given up goals right after scoring. This time they reverse the tables and come right back after the Flyers take the lead. As John Tavares was down low to the left of the Flyer goal, Austin Matthews sift in between the hash marks. Nobody takes him. And Mitch Marner from the right wing circle throws it out to the middle of the ice, and it's a quick redirection by Matthews.
Just going to say, that puck wasn't on his stick.
No.
I mean, if it touched the tape, it was just touching.
Yeah,
it was gone.
But no lane was taken away. Nobody stayed with him, and that was a danger for the Flyers.
Matthews with his 13th of the season, and he is red hot since coming back too. Played to the line, but not out. Flyers keeping it in. Long shot is easily gloved by Wall. And with 11:48 to play in the second period, the Leafs have stormed back to tie the game on a couple of occasions here in this second period, as Austin Matthews gets the tying goal from Mitch Marner. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Get the official NHL app to watch, read, and listen to all the deets.
All I can say is absolutely wow.
All the sauce. All the saves.
Stop from Vasilevsky.
All the hits. All the snipes. All the sellies.
He scores! Unbelievable!
Howdy, hockey fans. How we doing this evening? Please let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Let's see how far out our reach is here on TSI. Let's see what corners of the globe we have watching the game with us here on TSI and listening to the call of Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph on a beautiful, wonderful, amazing, great, I've never had a better Tuesday in my life. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Go Leafs, go. Thanks for letting us know where you're watching from.
A dealer and test drive yours today.
Air Transat presents two friends traveling in Europe for the first time and feeling some pretty big emotions.
This coffee is so good. How do they make it so rich and tasty?
Those paintings we saw today weren't prints. They were the actual paintings.
I have never seen tomatoes like this. How are they so red?
With flight deals starting at just $589, it's time for you to see what Europe has to offer. Don't worry, you can handle it. Visit airtransat.com for details. Conditions apply. Air Transat. Travel moves us.
Dedication, serve, protect our country. Within he and his brother friends and the family.
Maple Leafs tie the game.
Austin Matthews, that's only his second power play goal, or pardon me, fourth power play goal of the season. You know, since coming back from the injury, it's a 7-game point streak. Well, I guess that goes back before the injury, but his points 7 straight, 4 goals, 9 assists now in that stretch. Oh.
The penalized player, Forrester, had managed to get the door open. It was 1 second after the power play that the goal was scored.
That's the stat we were talking about, right?
Yep. Leafs break out with Nyes, getting it to Marner. Marner to the line and in. Flips into the right wing corner. Nyes had a pretty good grab on the Flyers stick there that didn't go for holding. Now he's done it again and got away with it again. Played to the line but not out. Leafs keep it in. Matthews to Marner in the right wing corner. Around the boards it'll find Matthews again. Back to the point but out of the reach of Ekman-Larsson, who has to go back into neutral ice. He'll just flip in as the Leafs get a change started. Flyers getting it up on the wing. And it is shot in over the line and gobbled up there by Toronto.
Get the feeling that maybe the big line's starting to chug here.
Do the math.
No, but I mean, the first period they weren't doing a whole lot.
In this game. Oh, okay. Yes, no. Yeah. I mean the way they've been going recently, I'd say they're hot as pistols.
Yeah, no, I'm going this game.
Okay, all right.
And I would say that there was no chugging going on in the first period.
All right, good point by you. But then that's why you're the world's best analyst. Back to the point, shot taken there by Farabee.
You're judging, that means a lot.
Played out at center ice, a race for it. Lorenz couldn't get there, and it goes off a stick and over the glass and out of play. Now, the Flyers... If the Leafs live in the past since '67, the Flyers live in the past since the Broad Street Bullies. So at the beginning of the game, what's the mascot's name? Frizzy.
No.
What is his name?
Gritty.
Yeah. He comes out and a co-conspirator comes out dressed as a Toronto Maple Leaf, and they have a boxing ring done in the center ice area. And Gritty gets in a fight with the Toronto player and knocks him out.
Yeah, he did land a couple of good ones.
Oh, he did. And admittedly, I thought the Toronto guy took a couple of good shots, but yeah, you're right. But, that gets, and of course, Philadelphia Flyer fans, that's what they expect. Well, we were supposed to have a main event, but that has not transpired at this particular point, although we did have a fight with Connor Dewar and Joel Farabee in the first period. Here the Flyers in over the line. A drop pass and a shot deflected off Benoit, and that has gone up into the screen and out of play. Of course, one of the more... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, one thing I do enjoy doing is going back and watching Toronto-Philadelphia games from the 70s. And you can find, I think, Game 7s and Game 6s.
They weren't played in 2.5 hours, were they? You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The college football playoff semifinals are on Sirius XM. Thursday night at 7:30 Eastern. Penn State takes on Notre Dame.
And the Irish will go play in the semifinal. Woo!
Then Friday at 7:30 Eastern, the Longhorns of Texas and Ohio State meet up in Dallas.
Jeremiah Smith with another magical catch.
Get your channel numbers at SiriusXM.com/college football schedule or search college football on the SiriusXM app. And for expert analysis, check out College Sports Radio Channel 84.
24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favorite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Currently we are 7th in blocked shots in the National Hockey League. At home, they blocked 356 over 24 games, and in 17 games on the road, 308. But here's where things get interesting. The Washington Capitals lead in blocked shots. They've had 384 at home, but they have had only 287 on the road, which leads you to believe they either don't check their blocked shot equipment for road trips, or analytics be damned. Maybe someone in Washington counts blocked shots differently than the people in the rest of the league.
That doesn't sound right.
No. Here are the Leafs in over the line with a wrist shot taken there by Myers that went wide. He chops it into the near corner. Dewar trying to get there, but it's played away from him. David Camp couldn't come up with it. Reeves getting a hit in as he is into the forecheck, but now here are the Flyers starting out, and the Leafs are changing. Pass up on the left wing with an opening and a drive, and it's whistled wide of the goal on the far side. I think that was Ristolainen. Played in along the boards. Bit of a hook there that went without a call. No, it's going to be called. The back referee has made the call, and as it is touched by Nyes, the Leafs will be a man short for the second time in the game. And the penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
Toronto penalty number 64, 2-minute minor for hooking.
All right, and it's going to be David Camp as the Leafs that is going to get nailed on this. The power play is now 4-2, still in favor of the Leafs. Yeah, pretty hard to. It was Morgan Frost that Camp got his stick into the hands of.
He had 2 minutes in penalties up until the other night, and then took a minor penalty, and now has taken another minor penalty. We were talking about the fourth line doing what they've been able to do without putting the Leafs in jeopardy or, being the man short.
Now you got Connor Dewar with a fight. Camp with a minor.
Well, fight didn't put your man short.
No, but you took you didn't have them available to kill penalties or do anything on the fourth line.
You're right. And certainly Ryan Reeves isn't going to kill penalties. Pass comes ahead at center for Tippett. Up on the right side, they gain the zone. That was Farabee getting it back to the blue line. Drysdale down into the far corner, looking in front of the net, and a good quick stick there by Mitch Marner has deflected it out and down the ice. Leafs will get a change of players going. Drysdale back in his own zone. Up on the right side, it goes for Tippett. Down the right wing boards, Owen Tippett into the corner. Sidestep the official to get it back to the blue line. Farabee gets it along the boards. Drysdale getting it back to the point. Tippett to the far side, and a one-timer was whistled wide of the goal. And despite a dive by one of the Flyers, it comes all the way down into Philadelphia territory. Minute 5 to go in the power play. Another change coming for Toronto. The Flyers are doing likewise. Ristolainen dropping it back. Brought on by Tyson Forrester. In on the right side, trying to get in along the boards was Bobby Brink. Brink goes cross ice into the slot, and the wrist shot went wide off a body. Back of the net, Timmins battles for it, got it freed up, and it's whistled around the boards and to the line, but a good play by Ristolainen to keep it in. Down into the right wing half boards now for Brink. Brink down into the corner. Back to the point to Ristolainen. Ristolainen to the left wing side, and a wrist shot into the glove of Joey Wall with 27 seconds left in the power play for Philadelphia in a 2-2 tie with 7:17 left to play. The Leafs have just had 6 shots on goal.
Yeah. 2 saves by Fedotov in the first, 2 saves by him in the second. As Joseph Wall, maybe you'd like to see him out a little further there, Joe. He was a little bit back on the goal line, but was still able to make the glove save to keep it out.
Face-off won by Philadelphia, trapped at the blue line. Ristolainen to the far side for Brink. Back to Ristolainen. Ristolainen's wrist shot was high and wide. I don't think Wall saw that till he heard it go off the glass. And the Leafs ring the boards with it and get it down the ice. Goaltender trying for a quick up that didn't surprise too many people. Now you can hear Fedotov slapping his stick to inform them that the penalty is about to expire, and now does. Back into the fray is David Camp. Puck is around the boards to the far side. Flyers play it down in back of the net, centering effort off a stick, comes back to Sandheim. Sandheim sends it into an empty corner, but now Myers trying to get a puck to settle down for him. Couldn't pin it to the boards the way he wanted. Sandheim gets it back at the point. Swung around back of the net, but it hit the official. And the Leafs get a break here as Camp brings it to center. In across the line, a drop pass and a wrist shot taken by Marner was blocked. Sliding into the corner, the Flyer that blocked the pass. Now Marner knocks a pass down out of the air, but the Flyers are able to get it out at center.
Think the fans knew it hit the referee?
Well, actually, they teach booing in kindergarten in Philadelphia. It's really a second language.
One of the funniest lines I heard about Philadelphia sports fans was that they go to the airport and boo successful landings.
Well, they've been known to boo Santa Claus at the Eagles game, so, I mean, how can you boo Santa Claus? Played down into the Leaf zone and an icing call coming here.
Was he wearing a Ranger jersey?
Oh, I didn't check that out. I didn't check that. Face-off coming back in the Philadelphia zone. Marner with a pretty good chance, but Cam York blocked that, and then Scott Lawton went cartwheeling into the corner. Marner has 2 assists and a 20th multi-point game of the season.
Yeah, Marner did not have a point Sunday against the Flyers. Actually, in his last 2 coming in, he was held pointless over the weekend.
Draw one by Philadelphia. Travis Sandheim got it to the blue line, but not out. They'll try it again. Flyers work it up on a backhand to center. And it's going to slide down to the side of the Leaf goal. It was scooped around the boards then by Wall. Chipped to the blue line and out. Flyers with it there, sending it right back in on a delay. And it'll be Oliver Ekman-Larsson getting it off to his defense partner, and a rink-wide pass brings Lorenz. Lorenz to the line and in. Around the boards, it'll go to the far side. Pacioretty sending it back of the net. Lorenz trapping it there. Tried to kick it free. Pacioretty got blasted from behind and knocked down. And now the Flyers are able to get it out into neutral ice. Philadelphia in across the line. Passing it into the corner off a stick. Max Domi got there to play it on the boards. Played up on the wing, and now Lorenz has a little skating room. Fed ahead. Oh, and a diving play made by Bobby Brink. Or the Leafs have got Pacioretty going in on goal all alone. Flyers back in across the line. Forrester had his shot deflect in around back of the net. Benoit trying to get it freed up and has. Pokes it ahead. Nylander circles back. Now gives it off to Timmins. Timmins with a bank pass to center. Chipped in over the line by Bobby McMahon. Igor Zamula into the corner for Philadelphia. Push back towards the blue line. Nylander keeping it alive there. Backhands it hard. Back into the corner, but no one there. They were all in front of the net. And now the Flyers are able to punch it out and down the ice. Morgan Rielly is slowed up sufficiently to allow an icing. I hope he didn't hurt himself. He could have pulled a muscle there trying to slow up.
I think the Philadelphia fans might have recognized that effort as well.
Pretty good effort by Bobby Brink to break up what could have been a great opportunity for Max Pacioretty.
John Tortorella just got a glimpse of him on the Flyer bench. Does not seem too happy, and I think a big part of it is he knows the Leafs. For the Leafs, this is a game they're struggling to get through. And Philadelphia hasn't been able to build or at least maintain a lead in this game. 2-2, 3:58 to go here in the second period.
Draw to the right of goaltender Ivan Fedotov. And the draw scrummed. Leafs trying to get the puck free from Matthews back of the near boards. They scrap for it. It does come free, and it's kept in at the point. Off on the wing for Marner. Marner slides it in along the boards then for Nyes. Nyes trying to chip it there for his centerman, but it comes out at center ice off a stick, and the Leafs have to go back. Rielly sending it right back in again. Marner got lifted off his skates, nowhere near the puck. No call there. Puck out at center ice. Stolen back by Brink. Brink in on the left wing. Drops it off. Into the corner. Trying to make a move there is Morgan Frost. Frost around back of the net. Got it back to the blue line. Walking the line, Sandheim. Back in for Frost. Trying to come out of the corner with it. Back to the point. looking for a man in front. No luck. Farabee looking for it now as it goes into the corner. Now here's Sandheim. Got it through the goal crease. No one home. Rielly couldn't find anybody to pass it to. It comes back to the blue line. Flyers in the midst of a change. Kept in by Cam York. Coming out of the corner with it is Couturier. Long shot deflects wide. Morgan Rielly has it, pounding it off the glass this time, and it'll sail down into Flyer territory, but not enough for icing. 2:40 to play in the period. If you've joined us late, there hasn't been any fireworks between Hathaway and Reeves, and it's a 2-2 tie. Flyers get it back into the slot, off a skate. Trying to keep it alive, intercepted by Toronto. Pushed out at center ice. Reeves got it ahead. Dewar knocked it down, but in so doing, lost the handle on his stick, and so he was trying to work in. He gets Bobby Hastings to get him a new one, and then he steps into his man, but can't control the puck. Konechny and over the line with a shot into the glove of Wall, coming off the wing, and it will stop play with a face-off as Connor Timmins and Konechny have a word with one another. The Leafs 2 and the Flyers 2. 2:03 to play, second period. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network. Firefighter Finn McHose, that's a nickname, right? Needed help contending with a blaze of debt. He called Alpine Credits and a superhero was sent his way. Summoning water, she extinguished the fire and consolidated his debt into one low monthly payment. His floors may be wet, but his debt is under control. Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just license 12616.
The Subaru winter has arrived. The crisp air and negative temperatures mean one thing: camping. Emerge from your icy tent and bask in 4 to 6 hours of sunlight. Enjoy the unmistakable smell of campfire through the glacial wind pummeling your face. Relax by the water, taking in the soothing sounds of thick ice cracking and popping. Get out there in winter like it's summer with standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and advanced safety systems. Visit your local Subaru dealer today.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations.
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us again for another Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game. We play the Flyers again. 2 games against the Islanders, 2 games against the Flyers. We're 3 out of 3. Let's go get it. Just wanted to say thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us, cheering on our Leafs every single game here on TSI and making a difference in our community with SickKids. I've got a lot of work to do to get ready for the college football playoff games and the NFL playoff games coming up over the next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing out that campaign link when the football games are on. And we'll see you back in the chat. Go Leafs, go!
More in the second period. Blocks a shot, breaks a stick, and has a breakaway. Without a stick, kicked it all the way up to the ice and actually got it to Jason Blake, who wasn't able to finish off. But I remember it was a breakaway from the Vancouver line without a stick.
Going to be pretty tough to have that not called kicked in.
But I mean, but like I said, Blake still had the opportunity.
Yep. Shot from a sharp angle, took Wall off the side of the helmet, and he's learned his lesson. When he feels that's a little bit loose, that thing's coming off instead of him asking the official for a little bit of timeout. So
yeah, you just
took that right off the side of the head.
You want to take a glance and make sure.
No, right off the chin.
Yeah, you want to make sure nobody's winding up to hammer it.
Good point by you. Yes, the puck is free, and I can get out of the way, and by the Chris Tan have had it. So
came across an old picture of Gump Worsley, maskless, laying flat on his back, out cold to the crease. The Minnesota North Stars.
So they took him in to the dressing room, got him a couple of beers.
No,
he went back out.
He said wasn't a beer drinker. That was one of the things. He said he got a beer belly, and he said, "I've never touched this stuff. I'm a whiskey guy."
Shot in by Ekman Larson. Flyers after it, but played around into the left wing corner. Game is tied 2-2, under 2 minutes to play. Second period. Brought to the Toronto blue line, but lost, and the Leafs recount and now launch it in, courtesy of Tavares, who got hooked onto by a Flyer who dropped his DNA evidence, his stick, to plead innocence. And it worked. Leafs in their own zone now. Pass up at center. Played to the left wing side. Kicked out at center ice by Ristolainen, who shows you he played a little soccer in his time. Flyers in around back of the Leaf goal, trying to center. Good block by Morgan Rielly. Back of the net. Myers got a bit of a stick come up and clip him. And now Rielly will play it up on the wing. And now McMahon, a lead pass off the glove. And Lawrence has a breakaway. He's in a goal! And that was stopped by Fedotov. Best save he has made. And the best chance the Leafs have had without scoring.
Boy, that was such a smart play. It was in the air, and in mid-stride, Lorentz bats it over the defense and then catches up to it.
Konechny steps into Benoit, and Benoit giving him a little bit of the business as the puck comes in front of the Leaf goal. Myers gets it ahead, and the Leafs get it out. Left wing side for Benoit. Benoit trying to drive the net, can't. Centers off a stick and came into the blue paint, but the Flyers got back in time to take away any chance. Played down into the Leaf zone. Ekman-Larsson will get back there in time to call an icing. 7.3 seconds left. And Steven Lorenz, who is the leading goal getter on that fourth line with 4, has a glorious chance here with a blocking arm save made by the Philadelphia netminder.
And it was Bobby McMahon that airmailed it from just inside the Leaf line on the left wing boards to the middle of the ice. And Steven Lorentz just tips it over everybody's head and doesn't break stride before picking it up at the Flyer line.
Flyers playing around the boards. Final seconds ticking down. And we'll go to the third.
Hey.
You got something important to say? Hey.
Not really.
No, don't say hey. Just say, hey, Joe, I have something really important to say.
Well, I don't. So what do I say then?
Well, just do what you were going to do.
Hey, Joey.
Hi, buddy.
Remember we were talking about how the Leafs had only had 5 games tied into the third period?
Yeah. How many is this in a row?
4 or 5 in a row now. I think that was worth a hey.
Yeah, it was worth a hey. Or even a hey you.
Well, maybe not a hey.
All right, fine. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's soccer's most thrilling league.
Only the Premier League can make you feel like this.
And now every match is on the SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it?
From the title race.
This is remarkable. Keeps this title charge on track, surely.
To the relegation fight.
The impossible may still be possible.
Hear every English Premier League match on the SiriusXM app and talk about all the EPL drama on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And yeah, and Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under review
with Mick Kerr.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that. Enjoyed it in Boston. Love it here. 2 organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes. And we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play.
Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern
on NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
To understand that you are allowed to legally still check the head, not just the head. The head by itself is a penalty. If you wanted to change it, that would be like in the IIHF. That's probably a penalty at the Olympics. That's probably at the World Juniors. That guy's gone and suspended. I ask you, do you want that?
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91.
And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
The only two players in the history of the National Hockey League to have 600 goals, 1,600 points, 3 Stanley Cups, and 2 Conn Smythes. Wayne and Sid. Just like it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Canadian Leafs hockey is on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Along the boards, the Leafs try to get it back to the point they do. Ekman Larsson, far side. Tavares gets it back to Marner. Marner on the far half boards to Matthews. Scores! I think the power play was over, but the Leafs have tied the game as Austin Matthews set up by his buddy, and it's 2-2.
Over by a second. 2-2 Flyers and Leafs after 40 minutes of play. TSN After 40 is brought to you by 241 Pizza. Give yourself a high five. Buy any large traditional pizza. Get up to 3 medium one-topping pizzas for $5 each. 241pizza.com. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart. And Stu, what you had to like here was the response. So Philadelphia goes a man down seconds into the second period. Tavares scores. Philadelphia goes up 2-1, and 40 seconds later, Matthews scores, and that's how we get there. But at least they responded.
Yeah, in a game where it's sort of not much going on offensively, for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They only had 7 shots that period, 9 total through 40 minutes. And, they could have easily mailed it in. But this is the game now where, sort of the Stars are taking over. And I think the only regret is that they didn't score a second earlier because, again, that power play would go 2 for 4 as opposed to 1 for 4 and sort of, juice the stats a little bit. But, it was a pretty good counterpunch there. Great job by Austin Matthews. What a really great one-touch there. But amazing pass by Marner through traffic with that little ladder shuffle pass there, and just shows the release that Matthews has, and he just seems to be feeling it. He's been all over the ice the whole entire game, making some big plays, getting a little bit physical. But this is one of those games where I think the talent can take over. But again, coaches like this, they look for other guys, when the legs aren't going, or you're a little bit tired, or you're a little bit, going through a drought. Someone needs to step up and make something happen. It can't just be the Austin Matthews, the Mitch Marners, who's now, top 5 in the league in goal scoring. You need other guys stepping up. So it's great that it's tied 2-2, but, we need more plays like, Steve Lorentz getting that breakaway and putting pucks home, and we need a full team effort in a game where it just seems not much is going on for the Maple Leafs.
Well, the 2-1 goal is a complete giveaway, and that doesn't help, but they did respond, so I like that. Also you look at the penalty kill worked well for the Leafs, and that includes the goaltender. That's a big factor.
Great save by Joseph Wall there, getting across and making that sprawling save there. Great save. He seems like he's dialed in. I'm sure he wants that one back from Konechny, where he almost got a little bit of a trick play sliding between his legs. But, when you give Konechny that much time and space, he can make some big plays. So not a bad goal in any sense of the word, but he responded, and he's playing good. 19 shots through the first 2 periods. He's dialed in. He's calm, cool, collective. He just seems a lot more comfortable in the crease. So I think for for Toronto, the silver lining, we talk about the positives, and I heard Ralphie talking about potentially this is not a game where the coach is coming in and kicking over water bottles and everything like that. It's, hey, you know what, there's going to be ups and downs. You need to find a way to persevere, and through 40 minutes, you have an opportunity to do that.
Well, it's tied. You got 20 minutes to go. It's anybody's game at this point, and I kind of like how the Leafs have. I guess the term is weathered the storm. Got the line blender out a bit too, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He mixed up some of the lines there too, and I'm not sure Ryan Reeves had that much ice through 40 minutes. He's only at 5 minutes right now, but you're seeing McMahon at 10 minutes. Lorentz is getting some more ice time at 9 minutes as well too, and Campsu. So that's in games like this. It's just a free flowing back and forth. It's almost like the white noise and the rain going in on your iPod as you're listening. It's just one of those games, and again, I've been in them. It's the dog days of the season, but again, it's an opportunity. If you put, I can guarantee if the Leafs put together 3-4 shifts in a row, they could take this game over. It's waiting for somebody to make a big play, go into the corner, make a big hit. You saw Benoit getting involved physically. You saw him activate, trying to do like a young Denny Savard going end to end as well too. So it's the game for the taking. Someone needs to step up, but this is the game. We could have been talking about it after 40 minutes, it being 4-0 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they had some players, grade A players, make some grade A plays. They're getting the goaltending, and they're giving them a chance to win, and that's sort of been the story of the season this year for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, has there been anybody on the Leafs that has jumped off the page for you that looks good?
I noticed Benoit, he's getting involved. He did get popped near the end there too, but he's getting involved as well too. You saw McMahon got sprung there too. He's got some good speed. I saw her early in the first period. That was a game where, there's sort of just, nothing really going on. He drew a penalty, so he's really using his legs. We saw the Lorentz breakaway. But again, not really too much going on in Leafs land, right? So I'm going through the list now. I'm like, and that's the toughest part. They always talk about when contract negotiations, being consistent. And, there's only a handful of guys that are over a point a game, and they get majority of those points in less than 82 games. So it's tough to be consistent, but they tell you can't always bring your A game. You got to raise the level of your B game. And that's why I'm looking through this list. I'm like, yeah, some of them have a pretty decent B game tonight. They're not bringing their A game, but they're still another level. And we'll see how hard Coach Berube pushes this group. Does he stack the lines a little bit more? Does he take away some ice time? For me, I'm like, you know what? If this is a game they lose in overtime, that's fine, because again, they've played a lot of hockey as of late. Scrunched with back-to-backs, and the holidays coming up. I don't necessarily want to put your foot on the gas too hard and run out of gas down the line in the next couple games.
Yeah, I was just looking at the event summary. It's not very involved in terms of numbers. There's 3 of them have 4 hits. That would be
Lorentz, Lorentz and Myers, So they're good. They're great.
Benoit.
Amazing tonight. Yeah. Amazing tonight.
Yeah, well, that's the column you go to, because the shot attempts is not good either. It's 33 in total. Only 9 got through. That's not great.
Yeah, so again, kudos to the guys answering the bells physically, and through to after the first period, it sort of died down a little bit. Philly's like, you know what, we're going to try to turn this into a bit of a track meet. We're not going to play the war of truculence, because they got some guys that came in and they brought their work boost tonight.
Well, it's tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
The 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid is here, and it may sound too good to be true. With a 2-liter 4-cylinder backed by 2 electric motors, giving a combined 200 horsepower, it's our most powerful and fuel-efficient Civic ever. Plus, with an estimated range of over 800 kilometers and available features like a Bose premium sound system, your crew will love it too. Huh, maybe it should be called the Civic 2.0. Redefine your drive with the 2025 Civic Hybrid. Visit your Ontario Honda dealer and test drive yours today.
We are summer. Are you ready? It's coming soon. North America's largest indoor boat show. The Toronto International Boat Show. Browse, compare, shop, deal. The best place to see boats is the best place to buy them. January 18th to 26th at the Enercare Center.
We are summer. Are you ready?
We are summer.
The Toronto Boat Show.
Visit TorontoBoatShow.com.
The new threat by President-elect Donald Trump a day after Justin Trudeau said he will resign. This is Omar Sachedina. Tonight on CTV National News, the Prime Minister's fiery rebuke to the idea of a Canada-U.S. merger. Tonight at 11 and at ctvnews.ca.
And we're back.
I've got to say, what a thrill.
Couldn't agree more, Jeff. My blood is pumping.
Canadian Blood Services needs 450 new donors every day to keep Canada's lifeline strong.
And in the final quarter of the day, we have 55 left to... What's that?
Is that a new donor?
It's a new donor.
We're at 396. Only 54 left to go.
This is the 450 challenge. Let's get Canada's blood pumping.
Book an appointment today at blood.ca/450.
They say true sports fans spend game day tailgating outside in the cold. I prefer Chuck's skating at Chuck's Roadhouse. Every Leafs game, Chuck's serves up icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadians for just $4. Big juicy hamburgers for only $9. And half-price wings for apps after 9 p.m. Right about the time tailgaters' cold feet go numb. Chuck's Roadhouse. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
At Walmart, we offer everyday low prices to help you save money and live better. Save $5 on a box of selected varieties and sizes of Pampers or Huggies Super Pack diapers. And save even more with the tax break on now at Walmart.
The out-of-town scoreboard is brought to you by Maple Toyota. You don't have to go out of town for a great new Tundra or RAV4 gas or hybrid. Maple Toyota has them in stock and ready to deliver. Visit mapletoyota.com. Here's what we have. In the second period, midway through, Blues 4-3 over the Wild. Third period, it is the Jackets losing to the Penguins. Actually, they just tied it, 3-3 Jackets and Penguins. Also in the third period, Detroit and Ottawa tied at 2. In the third as well, Lightning 2-1 over the Canes. In the second, Jets 3-0 over the Predators. In the third, Rangers 4-3 over the Stars. It's over now in Boston. Oilers win 4-0, getting set to start Calgary and Anaheim and Vegas in San Jose against the Sharks. In our game, it's all tied at 2 after 40 minutes of play. Oh, yes, Guy. The third period is next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
No two people.
Indulge in a channel full of soft pop nostalgia.
High-rise jeans, oversized blazers. That was my go-to.
With a special guest host who knows a little something about the late 80s and early 90s.
Hi, I'm Lori Loughlin. You may know me as Aunt Becky. My whole commute to work over at Full House, I would listen to this song.
Mom Jeans. Listen now for a limited time on Channel 17 and available year-round as one of over 200 extra channels on the SiriusXM app.
Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The big names are on NHL Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. We make that next step. How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Leafs 2 and the Flyers 2. We get set to start the third period, but we would be remiss without mentioning the passing of a wonderful individual, Al McNeil, who starred for the Toronto Marlboros, winning the Memorial Cup back-to-back seasons, 55, 56, I believe it was. Played about 70 games in a Leaf uniform, played for a bunch of teams, but was more well-known for his managerial and coaching situations. He was the man in charge of the Canadiens farm system when I went out to Halifax to start broadcasting the Nova Scotia Voyageurs. He was a true blue noser. He was from Cape Breton Island. One of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Absolutely. I didn't get to know him until he was in Calgary with the Flames, and a big part of their success, their Stanley Cup that they won in the 80s as well. But you're right. There are people, when you hear their passing, the first thing you remember about them is what a wonderful person they were.
And one of the unfortunate aspects of his career was coaching the Montreal Canadiens. Claude Ruel pulled a chute and quit. Al McNeil said he would finish the season. Well, they finished the season in the Stanley Cup final. And in Game 5, he benched Henri Richard. They lost the game, but they came back and won Game 6. And then Henri Richard scored twice in Game 7 to win. But he was quoted in the paper as saying that McNeil was the worst coach he'd ever played for. And, of course, the icon that the Richards were, that blew up. And who steps in right next after Al McNeil left? Oh, that guy named Bowman.
Yeah, he won a few after that.
He did okay. But Al McNeil was a wonderful, wonderful individual, and our thoughts are with his family as the Leafs move from left to right. And a collision there, and 2 Flyers are down.
Boy, Mitchkoff and Lawton both ran into each other with their heads down, going for the loose puck in the high slot.
And Mitchkoff is cut.
Yeah, he's got blood on his hands as he's getting up. Lawton is still down. And one of the stats we looked at after the second period is the Leafs, after 2 periods, had what, Joe, 9 shots on goal?
Yep.
Mitchkoff had 7 for the Flyers after 40 minutes. And Lawton is still down.
Yeah, Scott Lawton is a local kid from the Toronto area. And the boys on Overdrive today were speculating that he would be a great third-line center fit if the Maple Leafs went after somebody at the trade deadline. So he's getting up on his skates. He seems to be okay. Mitchkoff is being attended to. But when you go down from friendly fire, that's not the way to do it. And, of course, you see it happening. You know you're going to get hit. So what do? You kind of lighten up, trying not to hurt your own player. And that's probably the...
Cam York almost got a high stick in the face after the collision as well.
Yes, he did, didn't he? So they're both on the bench.
Boy, Mitchkoff, he's got a pressure cut, I think, from the
collision.
Maybe the visor.
Yeah. Well, they're both on the bench, and play goes on. Brink deflects the puck down into the Toronto end, but it turns to an icing. And so it'll be brought back. The Leafs 2 and the Flyers 2.
All right.
Leafs going left to right on your radio dial.
Yeah, going into the Islander game, the Leafs had only entered the third period tied 3 times. 0-2-1. Now this is the 4th game in a row they have gone into the third tied, and the Leafs have won all 3 of those.
Played out at center ice. Nyes dropping it back. The Leafs play it up ahead, deflected in over the line by Marner, but the Flyers are able to get to it. Now Marner trying to chase down a loose puck. Comes to center, and the Flyers are in with Sandheim. Working to the far side. Tipped off his stick, and Nyes with some skating room down the left wing to his liking. Got in over the line. Turns it back towards the center. And it was cleared by Philadelphia to the line. Brought back in on a delayed offside by Toronto, but both teams are going to take the opportunity to change. Cam York gets it on the left wing boards. Fed ahead by Zamula in over the line. Stopping up is Ryan Poehling. His pass intercepted. Leafs wait for it now, and now Tavares trying to get to center. Can't. Not sure what the fans are all upset about or booing about. Or maybe it's Zamula. Maybe they're Zamuling. I don't know. Played to center for Nylander. Nylander tries to get it in over the line. Into the corner it goes for Tavares. He can't reach it. And out come the Flyers with a pass by Ristolainen. And that's an errant pass and another icing coming here against Philadelphia.
Yeah, there seems to be something
going on in the building.
Crowd.
Not seeing it. One of my favorites when we went to see game, when we actually got to travel and we're in Philadelphia, Lauren Hart doing the national anthem. And one of the things that has been taken away from us is the duet that they used to do in the playoffs with Lauren Hart and Kate Smith singing God Bless America, which was an iconic part of Philadelphia lore. And because of various things in the lives of people that have gone well before us, using Kate Smith to sing anymore is not applicable. Pass up at center ice. The Leafs bring it in over the line. Domi getting it in on the right side. Pacioretty with a shot. A loose puck! And Fedotov, who looked like he should have had the initial one, actually had to cover up on the third whack at it.
Yeah, and this is, I mean, it's unfair to say because the Leafs have not tested him a lot. But he doesn't look comfortable, for lack of a better way to put it.
Well, Max Domi's dad had a memorable night in this building. The night he was in the penalty box when some local yokel decided that he was coming in for a drink of water with him.
I remember Harry Neal yelling, "What's the lawsuit?"
A shot from a sharp angle. Oh, and Fedotov came across and made his best save of the game.
Well,
and that was Marner getting it off the backboards in a hurry.
And good news for the Flyers is Lott has come back to the bench for Philadelphia. Here, this was just off a face-off win. Austin Matthews back to the point, rebound off the boards, and Mitch Marner. You remember Bobby McMahon scored the game-winning goal, almost similar fashion. But Sandheim here
gave it to him.
Yeah, it was a horrible clearing attempt.
Teed it up for him. Flyers get it out at center. Leafs play it back to the blue line. Philadelphia chip it back into Toronto territory, and Connor Timmins has the puck, getting it ahead, and Nyes plays to an open wing. Matthews almost stole it away from Noah Cates, but he gets to center now and sends it into the Toronto end. Marner dropping it off to the defense. Oliver Ekman-Larsson ran into a traffic jam and lost the puck. Farabee goes back of the net. Timmins trying to get it away from him and has. And played up on the wing. The Leafs are going to bank it out at center, but it bounces over the stick of the Leafs' Connor Dewar. Brought back in over the line now by the Flyers, trying to flip it in front of the net. That doesn't work. Played around back of the net, and Tanev is there to play it up at center, and it's bouncing down towards the goal, and it'll be played into the corner then by the Flyers goaltender rather haphazardly, and the Leafs trying to take advantage of it maybe. Reeves able to keep it in. Dewar in the left wing boards can't come up with it, and the Flyers lift it high down into Toronto territory. You joined us late. We have not had any kind of go-around between Garnet Hathaway and Ryan Reeves. Down the boards and in. We have had Joel Farabee and Connor Dewar drop the gloves in the first period. We get another icing call here against the Flyers. They've had about 5 here in this third period.
Owen Tippett doesn't like this call. He thought he beat his man back. Another face-off is going to be in the Philadelphia Flyers zone. And even tonight, Joe, in the face-off dot where the Leafs can be dominant, they've only won 50% of them. John Tavares, 6 of 11. Austin Matthews, 7 of 12.
2-game road trip for the Maple Leafs. They'll be in Carolina on Thursday night. Played to center ice by the Flyers and in over the line. A drop pass. Konechny, who has both goal centers. And I don't know how that went wide as far as it did. I think that was Paling who just banned on it.
Almost looked like he was trying to pass it.
Yes. Launched high in wide of the Flyer goal. Tavares, along with Bobby McMahon, jamming it in the corner. It goes back to the net, and Paling will play it up on the wing, and the Flyers are going to skate it to the line and wait for teammates to change and allow Tyson Forster to send it into the Leaf end. 19-12 the shots. The Leafs had 2 in the first period. High stick? No, not. Well, maybe it was. Well, one referee waved it off. The other, I think, blew it down.
Yeah, I think the guy that blows it down wins, doesn't he?
Probably. Pretty tough to take that whistle back once you've given it a good toot.
Imagine him say, wait, I was wrong. Go ahead.
You know what? No, play on, McDuff. Yeah, just go ahead, fellas. Just go ahead.
By the way, Ryan Palin, you mentioned him earlier. I think a lot of Leaf fans would remember his first ever NHL game. You may remember it was the end of the 2018-19 season. He got called up for the final game. Scored 3 goals on Freddie Anderson and scored the shootout winner.
Back of the net, Domi in the offensive zone. Got it into the slot area, but couldn't hook up there in front of the net with Pacioretty, who does a nice back-checking job to play it ahead. Domi on the left wing, trying a little toe drag move, and then got the shot on goal. And that broke the stick of the Flyer defenseman. A good hit in there by Nyes, but the Flyers have sent the puck to center ice. Changes coming for both teams. On the wing, it goes to Nyes. Played down into the corner by the big winger. Marner can't come up with it cleanly. Now works it into the corner. Tried to center for Matthews. It was intercepted by the Flyers. They punch it off the boards, but Matthews gets it again and gets it around back of the net. Marner secures. Marner in the far corner back towards the blue line. Now trying to send it to the front of the net. Went off a shin pad and comes to center ice. Flyers back after it. Matthews to Nyes, and it's back into the Leaf zone. Now back up ahead. Matthews couldn't handle the lead pass. Zamula gets it up on the left wing, and it's played down into the Toronto zone. Myers to his defense partner Rielly. Rielly up on the left wing side, and Tavares gets to center. Tried to flip it back on the wing. Broken up, and now back come the Flyers in on the right side. Shot stopped, big rebound, but it's cleared into the corner. And now here are the Leafs trying to work their way out. Glove down by Philadelphia. Played ahead on the left wing for Farabee. Got across the line. Konechny trying to stop up. Looks back for Farabee. Farabee down into the left wing corner. Bodied there by Myers. Myers got the puck free, and it is Bobby McMahon. Hack, whack, and slashing. Got it in over the line and took a pretty good hit there from Nick Seeler. But he got the job done getting it down into the Flyer end. So take your poison, but get the job done. Out Tanev, right wing side, bank shot around the boards to the left wing corner. Back into the slot, no one there. Flyers break out 3 abreast at the red line. Pass intercepted by Toronto. Brought back by Marner. Marner to the line with a long dump into the right wing corner. Matthews couldn't get there to apply pressure. Flyers get it out at center. Tanev has to scamper back. Tanev getting it back into neutral ice, but there's Konechny in on the left wing. Driving is Paling. He lost it as it came to the side of the goal, knocked away by Wall. Tanev in the far corner. Trying to play it ahead. As it knocked into the corner. Around back of the net. Flyers trying to come out with it. Konechny gets it back to the point. Long shoot in by Cam York goes astray. Matthews gets it freed up. Finds an open man back of the goal, and it's Tanev. He'll drop it off now for Timmins. Leafs are getting a change, and the Flyers are doing likewise. 12.5 minutes to play in the third. We're still tied at 2s. Played into the Flyer zone. Ristolainen bodied and knocked down. Former Sabre can't come up with it as it comes up on the left wing, though. Philadelphia will get it out. Right wing side for Morgan Frost. Into the slot area, and a bouncing puck is knocked away. And the Leafs break out at center ice, led by David Kampf. Kampf works to the line and in on the left wing. Dropped it off there on the boards for Dewar. Couldn't find Reeves going to the front of the net. Now played by Kampf back to the point, but the Flyers are there to pick it off. And it's played to center ice, and Benoit misses his man with a hit, but got the job done as it's just dumped in, and now Connor Timmins starting out with it. Almost had his pocket picked again, but got it out over the line this time. And Max Domi helps him out by playing it up on the left wing. Flyers have to go back in their own zone. They'll play it to the line. It's a delayed offside. Leafs tag up, and after it quickly and down the boards is Lorenz. Lorenz tried to center, hit the side of the goal. Back to the point, trapped by the Leafs with a long shot that was blocked in front of the goal. Flyers get it out at center, and they're going to play it down into the Toronto end, and Wall will scoop it over on the right wing side, and now brought out by Lorenz, and he'll shoot it deep into Flyer territory. Leafs 2 and the Flyers 2. 11:03 to play in the third period. Leafs trying to keep the winning streak going here. Leaders of the Atlantic Division. And in the conversation for the President's Trophy. Matthews, a great move! Oh, and he slipped it through the blue paint. And then the rebound was set high and wide by the Leafs. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Played back into the Toronto end. We've had a long stretch without a whistle. Brought to center by Toronto. Rolled in, and Marner goes in after the puck quickly. Playing it along the boards. Tavares down the wall. Kicks it back to the net. McMahon comes up with it. And is it just me? I've not seen Willie Nylander. Playing along the boards, McMahon trying to get it freed up.
There he is.
Oh, sorry. I'll be all right. Just thinking of other shifts. Now a loose puck down into the Toronto end, and Benoit did a nice job of tying up his man. Pass onto the right wing for Nylander. Nylander in over the line. Pulls it around the boards to send it into the left wing corner. Chopped along the wall and pushed out at center ice. And it'll go down into the Toronto zone, and a change of players coming. 9:35. If we had somewhere to go, we'd be able to get there early, it looks like, Mr. Ralph, unless this goes to overtime, because this... Oh, nuts. There's a whistle. Just when I thought things were moving along.
And now I can't go to where I want it.
Oh, you're not going? No. You should.
Don't have time.
I'm sure it'd be fun. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The NFL playoffs are here, and teams have their sights set on Super Bowl 59.
Touchdown! What a beautiful throw by Josh Allen!
Right along with NFL radio leading up to Wild Card Weekend, as their panel of experts discuss the matchups and all the coaching news around the league.
That's a great city for football. They got a defense that's pretty decent and a young quarterback. It's not a bad job.
Catch exclusive coverage of the NFL playoffs on SiriusXM NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the SiriusXM.
Howdy, hockey fans. How we doing this evening? Please let us know in the chat where you're watching from. Let's see how far out our reach is here on TSI. Let's see what corners of the globe we have watching the game with us here on TSI and listening to the call of Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph on a beautiful, wonderful, amazing, great... I've never had a better Tuesday in my life. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Go Leafs, go. Thanks for letting us know where you're watching from.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on SiriusXM FC 157 and the all-new SiriusXM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, scores!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
One of the things that the Maple Leafs have done a lot better this year has been physical. They are 6th in the NHL in hits, trailing Florida, Boston, Vancouver, Nashville, and New Jersey.
Makes for a pretty tough division, doesn't it? Florida and Boston are up there.
Yep. But if you're going to win the division, you got to play that way, don't you? Leafs drill the puck back down into Flyer territory. Swept around the boards. Myers can't keep it in. It's sliding back into Toronto territory and will be no icing. Rielly had to ring the boards with it. Flyers get there first. Trying to center, broken up nicely there by Domi. Myers helps him out by playing it off the glass, and it's tipped to center ice. Pacioretty down the boards along with Lorenz. Lorenz tried to one-hand it in front of the net, but it was picked off, and the Flyers get it out at center ice. Laid into the far corner. Oliver Ekman-Larsson with a hit there to take his man off, and out come the Leafs, led by Pacioretty. Up ahead by Domi to Oliver Ekman-Larsson with a shot. And that deflected wide. It comes to the side of the goal. They jam away at it. And Fedotov knocked it into the corner. Now the Flyers have launched it off the glass to center. 8.5 minutes to play third period. Tied at 2s. Along the boards, fed in then by Nyes. Bouncing puck. No one can contain it. Played back along the boards. Pinching down is Tanev. Got it back in along the wall. Matthews gets it back to the point. Timmins holds and shoots. And that deflected off Marner wide of the goal. Timmins gets another opportunity. No one to pass to at the defense, so he sends it into the corner. Nyes in there battling a couple of players. Marner hoping for a loose puck to develop. Ristolainen laying on top of Nyes. Nyes back on his skates. Bangs away and comes out with it. Centers for Matthews. Couldn't get a shot. Back it comes to Timmins. His shot is high and wide. Marner in the far corner. Back behind the net. No one there. Ristolainen looking to get it out. Off the glass and down the ice it goes. But no icing. Trapped there by the Flyers' Bobby Brink. But he loses it. And the Leafs have it again in their own zone.
That was a long shift for the Matthews line, wasn't it, in the Philadelphia zone?
And they had some good opportunities. Leafs pick off an errant pass. Reeves trying to get it in front. Unable to do so. Played back down into the Toronto end. Around back of the net. Ekman Larsson couldn't come up with it. Around back of the net. It comes back to the point. York getting it in on the right side. And a shot taken there as an easy glove save. Made by Joseph Woll. Looking to win for the 14th time this season. First time he's ever played the Philadelphia Flyers. And it's a 2-2 tie with 7 minutes to go in the third. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Breaking story from Alpine News Network.
Hey, hockey fans. Thanks for hanging out with us. You see that chat flying. You see all these Leafs fans in here hanging out, enjoying the game, cheering on our Leafs. Go, Leafs, go. We really appreciate you being here. If you have not hit that subscribe button, if you're just new here, if this is one of the first games you've been hanging out with us here, come on, get on it. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell. We are getting really close to 75,000 subscribers, and soon we're going to be going to get that plaque at 100K. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button and turning on the bell. Now let's get back to the best call in the business. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. Go Leafs, go. We'll see you back in there.
All the hockey. If it's hockey, it's here. Listen to every NHL game for free, now with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Download the official NHL app now.
It's time to celebrate.
Bulldogs, national champs.
Shoresy's back for a new season.
It's the off season.
Sorry, off season. And it's only on Crave.
Hockey players always find trouble in the off season. You know what Sudbury's like in the summer.
Summer in Sud Vegas.
It's good and weird.
Summer in Sud Vegas, baby. Gotta keep our guys between the lines.
Yeah!
They're gonna ruin everything.
Boys will be boys, boys.
Are you talking about the boys or the boys?
The boys. Shoresy, new season January 24th. Only on Crave. Subscribe now at crave.ca.
Leafs 2, Flyers 2. Getting into the latter stages of the third period.
Shots on goal here in the third, just 5-3 of favoring the Leafs. We're held, but only 2 shots on goal in the opening period.
Leafs win the face-off. Tavares up ahead. It comes to Nylander. He's going to shoot it in. Down the boards, kept alive by Tavares. Bobby McMahon back to the point. A shot deflected wide of the net. Nylander around back of the goal. Centers in front of drive. And in a rather strange position, Ivan Fedotov makes the save. How did he get down into that?
He was laying on his side and trying to look at it again. He sort of got tangled up with his own player going to his right and then fell and was on his right side when it was just blasted into him. I mean, if this puck is a foot higher, the Leafs have got the lead.
Wow. Draw to the right. That was a strange one. Leafs win the draw. Left wing side, Rielly with a wrist shot. Scores! Denies in front of the goal. I think gets a piece of this. But the Leafs grab the lead with 6:39, and the hottest shooter on the bench is the youngster Matthew Nyes.
5 goals since Saturday for Matthew Nyes. And boy, Joe, we talk about this a lot, how the Leafs did not score a lot of goals from the point. And here, Morgan Rielly launches it from the left point. And remember, this all comes after Fedotov was laying on his side, kept the puck out, the whistle blew, and the faceoff stayed in the Flyers zone. Flyers win the faceoff, and Matthew Nyes going to the net redirects it in, and the Leafs have their first lead of the game.
Well, every goal he scores now is a career high, and it's 16 on the year for Nyes. And the Flyer faithful getting a little impatient. A centering pass, trying to drive in front of the goal. Wall comes across, and Tyson Forster is denied. Joseph Wall needed all of that 6-foot 4-inch frame to come across with the Flyer, and he pushes hard with that right leg to get out and swallows up anything that might have looked like a rebound in front of the net.
Boy, Forster made a great move on Morgan Rielly down low just to the right of Wall. Danced around him and then brought the power move to the front of the net. And you're right, Wall had to stay with him with that big push to keep this a 3-2 Toronto lead.
First lead of the game for the Maple Leafs.
This is number 44, Morgan Rielly, along with number 51, Philippe Myers.
Myers and Rielly will draw assists on the goal. And Myers gets what I believe is, what is it now? His third point. Still looking for his first goal of the season. Flyers back in the defensive zone. Sandheim got it up on the right wing and in. Leafs are changing as it comes into the slot, left wing side. Sandheim with it. Back into the slot again, trying to get a shot away. Ristolainen. That was deflected wide by Wall. Trying to get it out there was Domi, but failing, and now the Leafs just flip it high. Oh boy. Too high. Too high. Too high. Too high.
Too bad.
Too bad.
Going to the box, and it's Max Pacioretty. I mean, this was, the puck's a foot inside the Leaf blue line. And Pacioretty, boy, I'm not sure what the thought process was. He had the whole left wing boards. He went back against the grain, and the Leafs have a big penalty kill coming up.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Hear every game of the NFL playoffs on SiriusXM. The Wild Card Weekend doubleheader kicks off Saturday at 4:30 Eastern with the Texans hosting the Chargers.
Herbert throwing, caught, touchdown!
Then at 8 Eastern, the Steelers face the Ravens.
Jackson throws, end zone, caught! Game over!
Find your hometown announcers at SiriusXM.com/NFL schedule or search for your team on the SiriusXM app and hear complete postgame coverage on Sirius.
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us again for another Toronto Maple Leafs hockey game. We play the Flyers again. 2 games against the Islanders, 2 games against the Flyers. We're 3 out of 3. Let's go get it! Just wanted to say thank you guys for being here and hanging out with us, cheering on our Leafs every single game here on TSI and making a difference in our community with SickKids. I've got a lot of work to do to get ready for the college football playoff games and the NFL playoff games coming up over the next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing out that campaign link when the football games are on. And we'll see you back in the chat. Go Leafs, go!
Wayne and Sid. Just like, it absolutely blows your mind how good Sidney Crosby is and how much we take him for granted.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
Max Pacioretty gets a delay of game penalty, and the penalty kill is brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks. Leafs lose the face-off. Ristolainen along the boards, gets it back from the blue line, off onto the left wing side. Mitch Cobb back to the point. Ristolainen, a shot deflected wide. Benoit unable to chip it back in the net for Tanev. Puck along the boards. Marner getting free of it, and he gets it out and down the ice on a good bit of hustle by Mitchell Marner. Flyers go back into their own zone. Force back. Ristolainen drops it off. Gets it returned. Ristolainen to the blue line. There are all kinds of people along that line, and it's created a problem. And Nyes takes advantage of the problem, sending it down the ice. Brink starts back for Philadelphia. Hits the line and gets into the zone. Myers forces him wide on the boards. Chopped back, gloved down, and kept in by Drysdale. Fed around the boards to the far side. Knife by Farabee into the slot. Drysdale, a shot. Blocked in front of the net. Myers getting in front of that. Drysdale again. Near side to Brink. Brink back to Drysdale. Over on the far side it goes. 4:17 left in the period. Back to the Brink with a shot off the stick of Myers, who has to regain it after having it knocked out of his hands. Played to the side of the net and behind the goal. And back into the corner for the Flyers, looking in front of the net. Pass down low, intercepted, and OEL sends it out and down the ice for Toronto. 28 seconds left in the power play. 3:50 left to go in the third period. Drop back, and the Flyers start out with it. A bad move at the blue line. Got three, and Marner takes advantage, sending it down the ice. Now 12 seconds left in the penalty. Drysdale starting back, dropping it off. Coming through neutral ice is Frost. Sent into the left wing corner. Played around by the Leafs. Off the boards, down the ice it goes, and out of the box. Step Pacioretty, and if it had happened about a second earlier, he was away to the races. Shot in by Philadelphia. Leafs hanging on to a 3-2 lead. First lead they've had in the game. At the point, Sandheim, D to D. Set around the boards, back of the net, then by Zamula. Now on the near boards, it bounces out in front. Grabbed off Zamula with a shot into the glove of Wall. And some shoving in front of the net with Myers. And Couturier. Nothing more developing there. Boy, Joe Wall looked awfully confident with that, did he not?
Yeah, when the guy did that little snap like a first baseman, ending the inning on a ground ball. Yeah, that was easy. But what you like about Wall is the reason he doesn't have to move a whole lot. You look at his position. Remember I said earlier we were worried he was back on the goal line a little bit. There, well outside on the angle, top of the crease.
Shot attempts, 55 for the Flyers, 49 for the Maple Leafs. Not an awful lot of shots on goal.
Big face-off here for John Tavares and the Leafs.
27-25 favoring Toronto, and face-offs make it 28. Leafs win it. But the Flyers intercept the pass and now have it back at the point. Near side now for Sandheim. Shot! Pad save made by Wall. Chipped by the Leafs out in center ice. 3:48 left to play in the third. The Leafs hanging on to a one-goal lead. Fired around the boards, trying to win for the fifth straight time, and back-to-back over Philadelphia. Chopped out by Domi and down into Philadelphia territory. No icing, forcing Sandheim back into his own zone. Myers into the forecheck. Sandheim with it, looking to make a pass, and punches it out at center, and it's back in over the line for Philadelphia, trying to get a chance here. Forrester rolls it in on goal, and good save made by Wall. 2:14 to play. Drysdale almost had his pocket picked there by Nylander. Back come the Flyers, left wing side. Noah Cates a shot. That went wide. Nylander unable to get to it on the far side. It'll come around the boards and trapped there by Philadelphia. Empty net now as the goaltender is out apparently. Back to the blue line it comes. Near side for Brink. Brink works the right wing side. Down into the corner. Flyers looking for the equalizer. Jammed in front of the net. Another shot. Wall stops that. And it's down into the corner. Big time save. Joey Wall right there. Fired around the boards by the Leafs. It's going to be iced. 1:34 left. But what a big time save from Joey Wall.
He had that one big stop in the second period going post to post. but he has saved his best for last here. I mean, he really had to kick out that right pad. After stopping the initial shot, rebound came right back out front. And I mean, there were 8 players, right in front of the crease, banging away at it. Wall was able to stick with it.
Leafs won the face-off. Myers trying to get it out, but it's blocked at the point. Nylander couldn't get it out. Another play up the boards doesn't clear. Round to the far side. Minute 20 to go, and Philadelphia in business on the far half boards. Looking for a man in front. Peckney looking for the puck. Konechny back at the point, but it doesn't come to him. Now it does. He has both Flyer goals. Over on the right wing side, a pass across. Oh, what a chance! An entire empty net, and they shot it behind the goaltender out the back door. Oh my! Less than a minute to go. Leafs are living on borrowed time. To the line and in. Poke check. Back penalty coming to Toronto.
All right, they're going to call it a hook. And now something happening behind the play.
Tippett.
All right, they're going to call a hook. 47.2 seconds left. And the face-off will obviously be in the Leafs zone, as I don't know what happened with Tippett behind the play. Austin Matthews was there, but it looks like Matthew Nyes, who right now is going to go for a hook. He's got the game-winning goal on his stick at this point, and he's going to look for some help from his teammates to be able to keep it that way. Boy, it was Owen Tippett, Joe, that missed the empty net. Right-handed shot on the left wing side, just below the goal line. Joseph Wall was nowhere near the net at that point.
Leafs have been 2 men short on 4 occasions now, totaling 3 minutes and 2 seconds in the previous 3, and have not given up a goal. 5 on 3.
Well, technically this is
6 on 3. Yes.
6 on 4.
Or 6 on 4. So they are 2 men short here.
Little bonus, of course, is that you're not penalized if you attempt to hit the empty net and miss. Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner coming out for the Leafs.
Face off to the right of Joey Wall. Draw one by Toronto. Hammered around the boards, but it won't clear. Good play over on the far side to keep it in by Mitchkov. Down in front of the net, it comes into the left wing corner. Konechny plays it back to the blue line. Drysdale walks the line to connect. A shot on the far side. Taken there by Mitchkov, was stopped by Wall. Cleared ahead. Marner can't get it out. That's in the skates of the Leaf player. Matthews. Flyers get it over on the near side, and Wall goes post to post on Konechny and makes the save. 16 seconds. Leafs getting it out. They do. 12 seconds left. Penalty coming.
Austin Matthews taken down right at the red line. And John Tortorella could only smile and shake his head. 11.4 seconds to go. The faceoff will come down in the Flyers zone. But Joseph Wall has been outstanding. Boy, Simon Benoit got drilled into the boards. There was no call. Could have been a hit from behind. Boarding penalty there. But looking at it again, Hockney with the one-timer, and Wall comes over. And if he doesn't shrug that right shoulder, he may be headed for overtime. And that was Owen Tippett, who missed the empty net earlier. Oh, no, I guess it's Drysdale.
Drysdale, yeah.
Tippett was there as well.
So 12 seconds left. The Leafs can win this face-off. They can probably just maintain the puck without doing anything with it to pull away with a win here in Philadelphia. Draw to the right of the Flyer goaltender. And the Flyers win the faceoff, so there's going to be one last rush. Goaltender heading for the bench. Out comes Sandheim. He drops it off on the far side, deflected back. 2 seconds left. One last shot. Deflects into the corner, and the Leafs come from behind again. Trailing on a couple of occasions. And Joey Wall stands tall in the latter stages of the third period to pull out a 3-2 victory for the Maple Leafs and a back-to-back sweeping of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Fourth straight game where the Leafs were tied with the opposition after the second period. 4 straight wins, and 3 of them have been done in regulation time. As Joseph Woll being congratulated, it was one of those games that was not pretty. But the big boys come through when needed with goals off the sticks of Matthews, who I forgot here, John Tavares, and Matthew Nyes with a game winner with 6:39 to go in the third period. Joseph Woll comes up with some big saves. I mean, this is one of those games where you don't have it, but you find a way. And this time it's the number 1 line that comes through. Well, I mean, they had a pretty good night on Saturday as well against the Boston Bruins. But then your goaltender bails you out late. The penalty kill was good. And you feel for the Flyers because they played 2 pretty competitive games against the Leafs, and all they get is 1 out of 4 points for it.
So the Maple Leafs will go on to tangle with Carolina on Thursday night. We'll have that action beginning at 7:30. We hope that you will join us at that time. Anthony Stewart will join Jim Taddy for the post-game show. I'm thinking about a little buddy of mine that's in the hospital up in Stouffville, and we'll think about him until we talk to you next time. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The PGA Tour's opening drive is on Sirius XM.
Towards the cup, it has a chance. It goes in! Wow!
With the new season here, PGA Tour Radio is your home for everything on the course. The chase for the FedEx Cup continues this Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern with live coverage of the Sony Open in Hawaii.
Hit the back of the hole and it goes in. Oh my goodness.
Sirius XM PGA Tour Radio. Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
So I always crack up when people go, I got a 4th and a 5th and a 6th. And yeah, and Charlie Brown got a rock. I'll take the 4th, 5th, and 6th over the rock. If you miss on your first round draft pick, it can happen. You miss the second time, what are we doing here? You miss the third time, you should be fired. What are you doing running your team's draft? No excuses.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in.
Another shot, red and black. Another chance. Game over. Bless you, boys. What a game. Do you believe this? Holy mackerel, the kid's on fire. They're going to the second round. Do you believe this? Holy mackerel. Point taken. 2-0 Toronto. 2-on-1. Minor in over the line looking for Tavares.
Thank you for finding us. Thank you for sharing out the link and bringing more hockey fans to our awesome community here on TSI. And let's get back to the hockey. Go Leafs, go! Let's tear them up.
Get him on his stick. Score!
Changing the world, one insider at a time. We'll see you in the chat. And holy Mackinac, go Leafs, go.
Network Radio.
The Executive Director, Vice President of Hockey Operations for the NHL, Colin Campbell.
The one thing that we're wrestling right now, like when do you change a call? We talk about a listening device in the referee's ear. Do we make that next step? How more perfect can we make a game through video review and helping the officials on the ice?
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Draw to the right. That was a strange one. Leafs win the draw. Left wing side. Rielly with a wrist shot. Scores! Knies in front of the goal. I think gets a piece of this. But the Leafs grab the lead with 6:39, and the hottest shooter on the bench is the youngster Matthew Knies.
And that was the eventual game-winning goal. Leafs win 3-2 in Philadelphia and are on a roll. Welcome to Leafs Game Night, the post-game show. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart with you. Jimmy Ralph kind enough to hang around. And Ralphie, Stu said this earlier, that talent should decide this, and it did. Yeah, that's Harry Neal always had the great line that I loved where he said, you never criticize the wins, because you're going to lose some games that you probably deserved a better fate. This would go under the column of being ugly. And what you love, and I know we've talked about it before, Jimmer and Stewie, that you see it with goaltenders, guys that are the top goaltenders in the league. You can see they might be fighting it early on in a game and then turn around to be the first star because they find a way to battle through it and get the job done. And that's exactly what the Leafs were able to do tonight. You looked at the first period. I mean, the giveaways, and you're down 1-0. The power play looked horrendous again. They 2 shots on goal in the first period. The second one was Mitch Marner's lob from center ice. They missed the net on breakaways. And you're thinking, okay, it's one of those nights. You might lose it 3-1 or 3-2 and say, okay, get ready for Carolina. But they stuck with it, and you feel great for the Leafs. I'm sure if you're John Tortorella, you're saying, man, we played 2 pretty solid games against a good team and only got 1 point out of it.
Yeah, you mentioned Joseph Woll, 30 saves tonight. I think he was probably the story along with the penalty kill.
Yeah, and really the story probably, Stewie, in the last 3 minutes more than anything. Oh, yeah. Where, I know you mentioned the second goal that the Flyers scored in the second period, the connecting one, his second one that he slipped 5-hole, that as a goaltender you're probably saying, yeah, I got to cover that up in close. But, man, to shut the door the rest of the way, and really Philly didn't have a whole lot going on until, after the Leafs made it 3-2. Then they had a great push, and let's not forget there was the hand of God that kind of played into it as well when I'm trying to think of who it was, Owen Tippett, I think, wasn't it? That missed the empty net. So, I mean, there are moments where it could have gone the other way, but through some breaks and some hard work, they were able to find a way to win it.
Well, let's talk a little more about Woll, just because he's now played a number of games, settled in, looks like a number one goaltender, and the same thing happened to Stolarz earlier when Woll wasn't available. It is remarkable. What is the difference with him?
You mean with Woll? Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there was the setback at the start of the season, and I remember when he came back. He had those 2 games against St. Louis when he came back, and he'd lost them both. And you're thinking, boy, he's not quite there yet. Even up until I don't want to say the Islander game 3 or 4 games ago, but to me that was the one where you're saying that's him. That's the guy that was stealing games for them before he got hurt last year. That's the guy that won 2 games in the playoffs for them over Boston. To me, the turning point for him was that game on Long Island that Bobby McMahon scored twice, and they probably didn't deserve to win that game, and you put that directly on goaltending. So I think it's probably, Jimmer, it just took him a while to catch up. You start the season on the bench and rehabbing an injury that it's going to take you a while to find your legs, and I'm sure the same thing is going to happen with Stolarz once he gets back as well.
So is there any concern now in maybe going down the route that you did with Stolarz and too many starts in a short period of time? They do have 5 games in the next 9 days starting on Thursday here. So what do you do? Do you go back to Woll against Carolina, or do you rest him versus Vancouver? Well, what would you do if you're the brain trust of the Maple Leafs?
I think you got to go back to Woll simply because of the importance of the game. You never know when it. I know we're still in January, but where this could be a deciding factor in the Eastern Conference if they ever, play each other in the postseason. So I think you do that. I'm not so sure that you sit back and wait and say, okay, the next back-to-back, Hildeby's going to play again. I think you sprinkle in a start somewhere over the next week or so where he gets back into the net.
Ralphie, I'm interested on your take on Austin Matthews, who's now played 3 games, had a goal tonight, and had just a tremendous deke in the third period that was stunning. Didn't score, but, I mean, he looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah, although, the one thing we haven't seen yet this year is the shot. The bar-down clank that you said, boy, that was a laser, it was a missile. And, not saying that there's a reason for it or he's unable to do it physically. But all the goals have had a different feel this year. Rebounds, deflections. Like the one, tonight was just a quick redirection on a pass from the slot. So, but the way he's competing and you see him, I mean, it's such a sneaky thing, but you can see him. He's like a shark. When somebody's going for the puck in the corner, he waits and he times it perfectly that as soon as you go to touch it, I'm going to lift your stick and take it. He doesn't try to get to the puck first. He's like, like when you're watching those National Geographic videos, you're saying, "Oh no!" Here, look out, little turtle! Here he comes. So I think that shows that he's back. The way he has been able to handle the puck. His takeaways are great again. But like I said, I think it might be more that he hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but. The one thing we haven't seen is that little toe drag or a missile under the crossbar that we've really gotten used to over the years.
So we know Austin Matthews is having Mitch Marner's having a really good season, but now with his 2 points tonight, ties him for Mikko Rantanen and one behind Leon Draisaitl for second in the National Hockey League in points. He's second in assists. He's ahead of Connor McDavid in points. Like, is it safe to say he's underrated? And I know there's the implications of the playoffs and all that, but he's having a all-world season. And what does that spell for him come off season? I don't want to get too far ahead, but I think it's underappreciated how good of a season he's having statistically.
Yeah, and you know what, Stewie? It's a different kind of pressure, isn't it? I mean, we can talk about the playoffs, and the playoffs are going to be talked about soon enough. But you enter the season, the final year of your contract. All this speculation, a lot of it with what you just said, and he's been able to battle through it. I mean, can you imagine if he had, say, half the points he has now and the team was losing and he was struggling? I mean, that, it would be a complete disaster for him. But I know there were a lot of people that said, you watch, he's going to have the best season of his career and prove everybody wrong, down this regular season before you even get to the postseason. So when it gets back to, hey, you got to trade him, get something for him now before it's too late, I think this is exactly why you've got to get a deal done, because look at the players you just mentioned with him in the scoring race. And McKinnon, still leads, but he is one of the top, if to be conservative, 7 or 8 players in the league easily.
Ralphie, I want to go back to the penalty kill, actually. The power play.
Let's not talk about the power play, Jimmy.
Well, they got one goal on it, but it just, well, this is the contrast I wanted to point out, was the penalty kill was so good, and the power play just provided more opportunities for Philadelphia than it did for the Leafs. So that nailing that penalty kill is really important.
Yeah, and I also think that the way the power play was the first couple of times is what gave Philadelphia energy. I thought in the first 7 or 8 minutes of the game, I thought, okay, the Leafs don't look great, but they were getting some chances. Nyes had the partial breakaway. Nylander had an opportunity. They couldn't hit the net. But you thought, Philadelphia looks like that team that just came back from a 6-game road trip and is trying to find their legs on home ice. And then, the Leaf power play was so horrid that it seemed to give Philadelphia life. And you thought that was going to be the turning point of the game. But, yeah, the big kills, and especially the last couple of minutes where Wall had to come up big, ultimately saved the game for them.
Great job by Dewar answering the bell tonight and fighting Joel Farabee, but no fight for Ryan Reeves. And I saw that he tried to ask Hathaway to go. Do you think there's a little bit more expectation that he sort of needs to impose himself, or maybe pick another guy that's not a willing combatant to send a message? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, Stewie, having played, I mean, so what are you going to do? Go take an instigator? Mm-hmm. And then if you give up a goal, you're saying, look, that's undisciplined. You got to pick your spots better. I think it was one of those that it had to happen a little more organically than planned. And I think you also go back to what happened with Jake McCabe. It wasn't anything dirty, and if anything, McCabe waited for Hathaway to get up to initiate the fight. So, I know a lot of people are going to have a different take on that, but I'm saying, what is the retribution for? He was getting a goalie interference penalty, got into more of a wrestling match than a fight, and a player got hurt. But I don't think it was anything where, hey, you did something dirty to our guy, we got to do it back to you. So I don't have any problem with the fact that nothing happened out of it.
Ralphie, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, boys.
Jim Ralph, kind enough to hang around after the game. 3-2, the Leafs win over the Flyers in regulation. Before we break, Stu, I want to throw this at you. John Tavares recorded his 20th goal of the season on that power play marker in the second period. His 15th NHL season with 20 or more goals, becomes the 32nd player in NHL history to record at least 20 goals in 15 seasons. There's Mr. Consistency. He's on a 40-goal pace, and what a contribution. I can't imagine this team without him.
Yes, and we talk about the adversity. I think he was probably the main stabilizer, right, where, through all the struggles and the injuries, he elevated his game and became the second line center. He was demoted to the third line for the first little bit of the season. And just elite company that he's in right now. I believe the only two other active players that have that many 20-goal seasons is Alexander Ovechkin, and we know the records that he's chasing right now, and Hall of Famer Patrick Kane. So, it's funny. Some people, the microscope usually shifts to him every year around January, February, but he is just the constant. The numbers are staying the same every single year. Whatever you think about him, he just contributes. He puts up numbers and ultimately helps the team win.
Well, and I believe the last 3 years coming out of camp, there was that cry to move him down to the third line, and he's answered the bell every time.
Yeah, and he is a leader, right? And again, in this market, there's some, maybe expectations, and he needs to be the face of the media and be talking. And no, he goes about his business. He shows up every day. He is consistent. He is probably one of the most consistent players on this Leafs team, and he leads by example. And for me, that's just important as the guy that's the raw guy. So again, for me, he can do no wrong in my eyes just because of the consistency, and he's amongst some elite company with his production over the last 7-8 years.
Absolutely. 3-2, the Leafs win over the Flyers. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Transat presents a couple trying to beat the winter blues. We could try hot yoga.
Too sweaty. We could go skating.
Too icy.
We could book a vacation.
Like somewhere hot.
Yeah, with pools.
And a spa.
And endless snacks. Yes! Yes! Yes!
With savings of up to 40% on Transat South packages, it's easy to say, so long to winter. Visit Transat.com or contact your Marlin travel professional for details. Conditions apply. Air Transat. Travel moves us.
Above average snowfall is expected in the GTA this winter. Are you ready? Maple Toyota has winter tire packages available and expert advice on the right ones for your Toyota. They'll even pay you cash when you upgrade. Trade in your old tires, buy a new set, and get $40 back. No one can guarantee the weather, but you can always count on Maple Toyota to do what's best for your Toyota. Located near Canada's Wonderland in the Maple Auto Mall. Visit mapletoyota.com.
Part of the Zankin Auto Group.
It's time to celebrate.
Bulldogs, national champs.
Shoresy's back for a new season.
It's the off season.
Off season. And it's only on Crave.
Hockey players always find trouble in the off season. You know what Sudbury's like in the summer.
Summer in Sud Vegas. It's good and weird.
Summer in Sud Vegas, baby. Gotta keep our guys between the lines.
Yeah!
They're gonna ruin everything.
Boys will be boys.
Are you talking about the boys or the boys? The boys.
Shoresy, new season January 24th. Only on Crave. Subscribe now at crave.ca.
Leafs Game Night. Jim Taddy and Anthony Stewart with you. The Leafs win 3-2 over the Flyers in Philadelphia. The winning streak is 5 and looking good. So are a lot of individuals, although collectively didn't look so good, Stu. But Nyes is on a bit of a roll. Matthews is on a bit of a roll. And the team somehow finds a way. Different version of that every night, but you can't argue with it.
Yeah, they found a way, and ultimately they weren't going. They didn't look like they had a lot of legs tonight. They were turning the puck over. There was some physicality, and maybe that took a little bit of the wind out of their sails, but ultimately they found a way to win. And, we can maybe count 2 power play goals. We know the one went in a second afterwards, but, there were some big questions, even by us after the first period, saying, hey, what the heck is going on with this group? But they responded well. They weathered the storm. But key players step up in key moments. And you saw the Tavares goal, obviously the Austin Matthews. But I think ultimately it was Joseph Woll. And the goaltending has saved this team's bacon numerous times this season. I would say, possibly out of their 26 wins, I would say, they got a grade A plus goaltending, probably out of 13, 14 of those wins, where if they weren't playing at a high level, they probably would be losing points. So kudos to Woll on his 30 saves tonight. He made some key saves, as Ralphie mentioned, especially in the last 3 minutes where, he got lucky with the stick of God, I guess, as he described it, with Tippett missing the open net, but he's been amazing as well, too. And, I heard you guys today on Leafs Guy talking about Hildeby, and he really calmed down after his first shot, one of the early shots that beat him. So the goaltending has been great, but this game, the Stars got them through. So what you don't want is rely on that heavily throughout the season, because there are going to be some inconsistencies with their play, but they found a way to get it done tonight, and the big guys got it done.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here that project to the playoffs, just because I think it's relevant. So when you win games the way they've been winning, not always the same way, and mucking through some tough situations, how does that sort of come out in the playoffs? Like, how do you draw on that, or does it just sort of keep moving forward?
Yeah, well, again, it's playoffs, especially, right? What has to be, the number one case, I think, is obviously health, right? And that's something that's been a bit of a question for this group. But, for me, I think it's the specialty teams being special. And tonight, the specialty teams, they won that battle. They were 4 for 4 in the penalty kill, and I would say 1.5 for 4 on the power play tonight. So the specialty teams, they won that. They did out-hit the Philadelphia Flyers 31-15. They won in the face-off department. They managed to win the giveaways and the takeaways department. Sorry, the giveaways. They did have more giveaways, and they were blocking some shots. So they put those little details together, and those small things equal big things at the win. So winning your face-offs, getting the pucks out, out-edging the team in hits and the specialty team battles, that's what's most important in the playoffs. So, yes, there's the micro stats of, entries and puck possession, and, they probably lost that battle where Philadelphia did have extended zone time, and that caused a lot of trouble, and especially in the fatigue department. But ultimately, they weathered the storm. They got the saves at the key times. They got a key power play goal, and they killed off some great penalties. So those little details, as I mentioned before, are big, and those are the keys to success, especially come playoff time.
So in a playoff series, regardless of the round, or maybe I should say the first 2 rounds, because as it gets deeper, it's less forgiving. But if you're going to get through situations, you don't always have to look good. But you have to figure out how to perform or get the job done when the game's on the line or the series is on the line. Some people will tell you that the year the Leafs got to the second round, they looked actually not as good as the year before when Tampa got past them. So in this particular case, I would suggest to you that it doesn't always have to look good, but if you can weather the storm and then get the performance that you need, or the result that you need, it would work. And I think we saw that tonight. Their game wasn't working, so they went to maybe a little more of a physical brand, got the penalty kill and the goaltender to sort of, I guess, stop the bleeding, and then took it from there by the slimmest of margins. But in a playoff, who cares?
Yeah, and there's all the reasons and the microcosms on why they lost that series to Boston and what they had versus what they didn't. But ultimately, they did not score enough goals. And you're looking at it this season, Mitch Marner's on pace for career highs in points. William Nylander's going to surpass, he's going to pass his 40+ that he scored last year. Tavares is on pace for 40. Austin Matthews, you're seeing what he's doing, 7 points in his last 3 games. You're now seeing the reemergence of Matthew Nyes, McMahon. So when you go down, who's going to score that big goal, or who's going to step up, or who can that list of players? It's mightily longer than it was last year, right? I can't see, and knock on wood, I can't see, whoever they're playing that first round shutting down a Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, Marner, Nyes, McMahon, and then Domi, when he steps it up in the playoffs. And then now you have Pacioretty, who's going to be adding a little bit more physicality, Lorentz that can skate, Dewar, who's getting involved camp, winning faceoff. This is a more complete group. And, the top guys got them through tonight, but that's not the story every single game. You've seen the third line have some big games. Nick Robertson, who was out of the lineup, he was playing great, and he had some chemistry with McMahon and Domi for an extended period of time. So I think it's a more complete group, and that's the key to the playoffs. You're seeing the other team in the other side of the division, of the conference that's doing well. The Washington Capitals, they have depth too, and they have depth scoring. So that's the key. And Toronto, I think that's their forte this year, as opposed to years past where they didn't have that success in the playoffs.
Going to hear from Coach Berube next. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this college football season.
The college football semifinals are finally here. Notre Dame versus Penn State, Texas versus Ohio State. The Buckeyes are a 5.5-point favorite over the Longhorns, and the Fighting Irish are 1.5-point favorites over the Nittany Lions. Make sure you tune into Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio. Channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
Vegas Golden Knights head coach Bruce Cassidy.
What gets you excited when you see their team, really starting to function at a high level?
Now you're bringing new guys in and creating a culture for them. I have always enjoyed that. Enjoyed it in Boston. Love it here. Two organizations with great culture and winning sort of attitudes. And we're seeing some young guys getting a little more responsibility and handling it well.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The UEFA Champions League is back on Sirius XM FC, and this year it's bigger than ever.
Absolutely ridiculous from Real Madrid. Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Now with more matches featuring soccer's most iconic clubs as they battle it out for European supremacy.
What a start for Inter! Haaland scores the hat-trick!
From the league phase to the final, the Champions League is on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Ray Hudson here with an important announcement. You can listen to your favourite Sirius XM FC shows on the all-new Sirius XM app, now available for all subscribers.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
By Honda, score a $1,500 Honda bonus in the CR-V LX. Conditions apply. Visit HondaOntario.com. Coach Berube and his team's ability to battle back.
Yeah, well, again, our third period was our best period. I mean, I thought we started the game off fine. And then just kind of flipped that period, and we didn't get any shots on net. We missed the net, and we're just kind of. I thought they were better than us in the first. They, a little more compete and quicker than us, but I thought we got our feet under us in the second and started to come in our third period was our best period.
You mentioned it was fine in the beginning. Is that just that there was the pushing of the pace of play, but just not the shots on net looked like fun?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I liked I thought we were going early. I thought we were playing the right way, and just missing the net. And the power play, I thought, set us back. The two power plays we had were not good. Obviously, it got good, but which is good for it's good they recovered. But I think the power play kind of hurt our momentum in the first period too.
Is that why you led to the PP1 change there?
Yeah, just change it up and see if we can get a spark going, and it worked.
What do you mean of how Joseph Wall's been able to get?
He's been solid. I thought he was very good tonight. He had to be. Made some big saves for us, and so our goaltending has been solid, which is important.
Can't teach the size that Matthew Nyes has, but how much you like the way he uses it. Seems pretty fearless going to the net.
Very fearless. Goes hard to the net, skates hard. He's hard to handle. That's the way I look at it. Like, he challenges D-men with his speed and his skill. and he's heavy. You know, he gets in there and it's hard to handle.
What would you like about Austin Matthews' game apart from finding his scoring touch as of late?
Yeah, it was a big goal, obviously, on the power play. Nice little give and go with him and Mitch. I liked where he scored it, you know, in the inside at the net, you know, which was good. But overall, he was a good player tonight. You know, I thought he worked and skated and did some good things, like, you know, drove the pace of play for us.
Do you like that 5-on-6, the way you guys defended there at the end of the game there?
Yeah, it's, you know, the one seam play I didn't like, you know, we gave up. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good. And then, you know, obviously with the goalie out and the penalty, I think we did a good job there.
What do you like most about what Connor Dewar brings to this team?
Energy. Compete, you know, hard work. I mean, he's just like he's a motor out there, you know, he doesn't stop, and it's you know, he gives you everything he's got every shift, and, you know, big fight for us tonight, you know. We didn't respond good enough to it, but he's been a good player for us.
3-2, the Leafs win in Philadelphia. Stu, what caught your ear there?
I would say, again, no high is too high and no low is too low, right? And, again, it could have been a 3-2 loss in overtime, and, you know, you probably have the same tone. So, for me, it's a 5-game winning streak. I'm sure he's ecstatic on the inside. He's never going to show it. He's very, very stoic in his thing. So, 5-game winning streak, the first one for the Maple Leafs this year. And it's a pretty tough 5-game schedule coming up. They got Carolina, Vancouver, Dallas, New Jersey, and finishing off in Montreal on January 18th. So, again, if they get 7 points out of 10, you know, we're talking about them maybe having a decent cushion on that, not just their division, but the whole entire Eastern Conference.
Oh, that would be nice. Stu, thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Tats.
So the Leafs win 3-2 over the Flyers. This is Leafs Game Night on TSN 1050, the iHeart Radio app of the Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to NHL Play-by-Play on SiriusXM. Head over to SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, for the best hockey talk.
Internet 938, while the Stars are on Internet 928. The Tampa Bay Lightning play the Carolina Hurricanes. The Lightning can be heard on XM 201, Internet 945, while the Hurricanes are on Internet 924. At 7 p.m., the Boston Bruins play the Edmonton Oilers. The Bruins are on Sirius XM Channel 91, Internet 921, while the Edmonton Oilers are on Internet 930. At 7 p.m., the Detroit Red Wings play the Ottawa Senators. The Red Wings are on Sirius 208, XM 219, Internet 929, while the Senators are on Internet 939. At 7:30 p.m., the Philadelphia Flyers play the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Flyers are on Sirius 210, XM 221, Internet 940, while the Maple Leafs are on Internet 946. At 8 p.m., the Winnipeg Jets play the Nashville Predators. The Jets are on Sirius XM Channel 167 and Internet 951, while the Predators are on Internet 935. At 8 p.m., the Minnesota Wild play the St. Louis Blues. The Wild are on XM 223, Internet 933, while the Blues are on Internet 944. At 10 p.m., the Anaheim Ducks play the Calgary Flames. The Ducks are on Sirius XM Channel 91 and Internet 920, while the Calgary Flames are on Internet 923. And finally, at 10:30 p.m., the San Jose Sharks play the Vegas Golden Knights. The San Jose Sharks are on Sirius 208, XM 219, Internet 942, while the Golden Knights are on Internet 949. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it tuned into Sirius XM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91 for the latest news, updates, and interviews.
Get the latest news, opinion, and analysis from MMA to boxing and the professional wrestling world 24/7. SiriusXM Fight Nation, SiriusXM 156, and the SXM app.
Hockey Hall of Famer and Stanley Cup champion for the Edmonton Oilers and New York Rangers, Mark Messier joined Scott Laughlin on the morning skate for SiriusXM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91 to discuss the pressures of Game 7 after having played in 9 Game 7s himself, winning 7 of them, and how you can either thrive under pressure or crumble underneath it.
I almost look at Game 7s, Mark, like I do overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs or overtime in any sporting event where you've got so much pressure on you and every play gets magnified. Could you, during the course of your career, and you don't have to name names, but could you look around the dressing room or could you look on the opposing bench and could you figure out those that wanted to be the hero and those that just wanted to avoid making the mistake. I mean, was that plain for you to see that there were those that wanted the puck on their stick with the game on the line that could thrive under pressure, and then you had the opposite as well?
I felt myself in those moments there defaulting to the more defensive side of the game. And then I played with my right winger, who I won 6 Stanley Cups with, Glenn Anderson. He was the kind of guy that was trying to, really drive hard offensively and take the game and try to score the winning goal. And we're on the same line. Maybe that the difference of us in our mentalities work perfectly. But everybody's wired different. Everybody's got fear, failure. The best have that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to internalize those feelings, but you can't let them paralyze you. And it's for me, going into a Game 7, I allowed myself to visualize what if we didn't win, leading up to the game, and then slowly as you get closer to the game, you allow yourself to kind of push the negative feelings aside, and you start to fill yourself up with all the great things that are going to happen and what you need to do to execute the game plan, and of course ultimately to seeing yourself holding the trophy. And as a game starts, all the negative and the positive go away, and then you drill yourself down into just executing the game plan, and you don't think about the what ifs and what should have been or what could have been. You just really kind of play in the moment. And I think trust becomes a massive word when you think about it. Can I trust each one of the players that are going out there to not only to do their part from a strategic standpoint, be in the right position, be in the right places at the right time, but not get undisciplined and take poor penalties at the wrong time because their ego is bruised and someone took advantage of them, then being able to hold all that in check. So there's just so many dynamics to think about for a team in order to overcome all the obstacles to win a championship. And it's fascinating to me. It's one of the reasons I was able to play 26 years, because once you do it, you understand how fun it is, but also how complicated and intricate it is to kind of get not only the team from a physical standpoint to come together, but how a team comes together emotionally, mentally, and the spirituality around a team, and the respect that lives inside that locker room is incredible.
Mad Dog Sports Radio has the best sports talk in the business, covering sports with a passion and knowledge you need. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM 86, and the SXM app.
I'm Zach Crawford with your Sirius XM NHL schedule for Tuesday, January 7th. All times are Eastern, and please remember that all games, times, and channels are subject to change, so check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In the NHL, at 7 p.m., the Pittsburgh Penguins play the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Penguins are on Sirius 211, XM 222, Internet 941, while the Blue Jackets are on Internet 927. 7 p.m., the New York Rangers are against the Dallas Stars. The Rangers are on Sirius 209, XM 220, Internet 938, while the Stars are on Internet 928. The Tampa Bay Lightning play the Carolina Hurricanes. The Lightning can be heard on XM 201, Internet 945, while the Hurricanes are on Internet 924. At 7 p.m., the Boston Bruins play the Edmonton Oilers. The Bruins are on Sirius XM Channel 91, Internet 921, while the Edmonton Oilers are on Internet 930. At 7 p.m., the Detroit Red Wings play the Ottawa Senators. The Red Wings are on Sirius 208, XM 219, Internet 929, while the Senators are on Internet 939. At 7:30 p.m., the Philadelphia Flyers play the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Flyers are on Sirius 210, XM 221, Internet 940, while the Maple Leafs are on Internet 946. At 8 p.m., the Winnipeg Jets play the Nashville Predators. The Jets are on Sirius XM Channel 167 and Internet 951, while the Predators are on Internet 935. At 8 p.m., the Minnesota Wild play the St. Louis Blues. The Wild are on XM 223, Internet 933, while the Blues are on Internet 944. At 10 p.m., the Anaheim Ducks play the Calgary Flames. The Ducks are on Sirius XM Channel 91 and Internet 920, while the Calgary Flames are on Internet 923. And finally, at 10:30 p.m., the San Jose Sharks play the Vegas Golden Knights. The San Jose Sharks are on Sirius 208, XM 219, Internet 942, while the Golden Knights are on Internet 949. For 24/7 coverage of the NHL season and hockey across the world, keep it tuned into SiriusXM NHL Network Radio on Channel 91 for the latest news, updates, and interviews.
MLB Network Radio is your home for 24/7 baseball talk, featuring on-site coverage of every major event from spring training through the World Series and expert analysis from former general managers and players. SiriusXM Channel 89.
Mark Messier is a 6-time Stanley Cup champion. He won 5 with the Edmonton Oilers and 1 with the New York Rangers, and is the only player to captain 2 teams to Stanley Cup championships. In Edmonton, after winning back-to-back Stanley Cup championships in 1984 and 85, it wasn't until 1987 where the team would win their 3rd Stanley Cup championship. Speaking on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio, Messier joined Scott Laughlin for the morning skate on SiriusXM Channel 91 to talk about what it was like to win that 1987 Stanley Cup Finals series against the Philadelphia Flyers, despite blowing a 3-1 series lead and having to win it in a Game 7.
Mark, let's go back to the 1987 Canada, or not Canada Cup. That was still to come.
That was
but
a
the
good Canada Cup.
1987, yes, that wasn't Game 7, but that was an all-decider as well, as we know. But for Game 7, yeah, that was pretty good stuff. But 87 in the Stanley Cup Final, you're facing Philadelphia. You're up 3-1 in the series. They come back to tie it. Now you've got Game 7. Take us back to your greatest remembrances of, again, almost letting the series slip away and then having that opportunity in Game 7 to come up big, which you guys clearly did.
Well, it just goes to show you that we